No.
Justin,
so,
I don't know if you saw in chat. I rolled a
persuasion?
16 on perception.
16, you said?
Perception.
Okay. So, while over that week where you're not getting downtime, you do hear plenty of rumors about the Civil War. That isn't technically a civil war yet, but there's just been some skirmishes. But you hear that basically the Gate Cavalry are baiting Vestran soldiers into pursuing them. And then there's ambushes set up with heavy infantry that kind of decimate any Vestran soldiers that do pursue. And so there have been some mounting casualties on the Vestran side as a result. Names start being thrown around about who's leading these efforts, and it seems like Kenneth, Sebastian, and Broderick, who are all people you know, or I think I get mixed up on which characters were present, but
Arya does not know, but I believe Tombe would know.
Yeah, they're people that the players have met, higher ranking people. Sebastian and Kenneth are cavalrymen, and I think they're like lieutenants in the army. And Broderick is a captain and a member of the heavy infantry, so just really armored up knights. And they seem to be leading.
Orc one?
What's that?
He's the orc one or no?
Yeah, Broderick is a half orc.
Yeah. Sorry, Broderick, Kenneth, and what was the last one again?
Sebastian.
That's alright. Just to refresh my notes.
So again, just basically some skirmishes have been happening, and then again these kind of ambushes have been being led, and there's actually some casualties starting to mount. So it's kind of being tossed around in the penny dreadfuls. Some people that are kind of pro Vestra are basically saying that these people are villains, and then the side of the penny dreadfuls and papers that are more gate pro gate. It seems weird. Pro Gate Point are basically touting those people as heroes, as well as Hector, who's leading the war effort. Seems like they portray him as like a mountain man, like a very charismatic mountain man. It's very kind of rugged.
Where are these skirmishes taking place?
Along the war lines where they had been run up before, just basically southwest of Brom. I could bring up a map if you really want to see specifically.
No need.
So yeah, the war lines themselves haven't moved much, but like again, the cavalry have been kind of leading charges into Vestran territory and then baiting soldiers to pursue, and then the heavy infantry comes in and ambushes and kills a bunch of people. Yeah, so Hector is being kind of touted as this mountain man. He's leading like night raids on camps. And destroying supplies and things, which is particularly troublesome during the winter times.
Some good fucking tactics.
They're having to kind of go back to cities to maintain their supplies a lot.
Bait then ambush.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who's the mountain man again? I'm sorry, I'm just still writing.
Hector. He's
Hector is the mountain man?
So he's the
Marquis.
Duke.
That's right, the Marquis of Gate.
There's a Duke of Gate, Albrecht, I think his name is, and then his son is Hector. So he's kind of the second in line to what would be a dukedom of that territory.
Yeah, there we go. That's right.
Marquis is spelled really stupidly, like Marquue, right?
Q-U-E, S. There's an S on the end, but everything else was right about how you spell it.
Fucking Q-U-I-S.
No, it's E.
Because Marquis with the E would be like a...
Q-U-E-S. Like this.
Fucking French.
He was spelled Q-U-I-E-S.
There is the mountain man.
I don't know. I-S is working fine for mine.
I don't know. Oh, just so you guys know, I'm adding this shit to the general
Maybe
notes.
It actually is I-S. I thought it was
I'm pretty
E-S.
sure the title is I-S.
I don't know. It's fucking French, and I hate the French. They're fake. Their language is fake. They're horrible people. They're not horrible. They're not horrible people.
Cut all that from the recording.
So
cut all of his racism.
I do not hate
God,
the French.
it's half of us now. It's him and Morgan.
I do not hate the French. I just think their language is fucking bullshit because you don't pronounce most of the letters.
It's a language of love, man, okay? Like, why is that a problem?
It's a language of love, but you don't pronounce most of the letters. You throw in 7 extra letters and you don't pronounce any of them.
It's UIS in French, and it's this way the rest of the time. UESS.
I'm typing it UES. Oh, there's a
It
second.
looks like Marquess, and it's really weird.
Marquess.
Are we recording?
No.
Not,
Yeah, we are.
this is the Rampaging Idiot pack, and we're playing fucking D&D.
No.
Gang, gang.
It
He's just cut all that out, including the racist rants.
wasn't intentionally racist. I just think the French
Fuck
language
the French. I hate the French. They're fake.
But like, also probably French people would say that about him. So.
It's mainly just the French
And they'd
language.
be
and the
right. So.
It's mainly just the language, but most of the times from... Never mind. Not gonna...
So.
I'm taking a shot.
Coming from an alcoholic, maybe don't.
Too late.
I'm proud of you.
The first event coming up is the archery contest. Does anybody want to go to that or participate?
Would I
Can
have...
Clint use his guns?
No, you don't think that would be a good idea.
Would I have any chance before the contest to make any potions? Because if not, I think a single potion is like an 8-hour
It's like the
process.
first day of downtime, so probably not.
God damn it.
So, Justin,
What?
when it comes to making potions with the healer's kit, it gives like, I think in Xanathar's it gives like a time frame for each one. So, if somebody had proficiency in the healing kit, could they spend the...
It's
what is it,
herbalism kit.
It's
Six
herbalism.
tick. Is it herbalism? Whatever it is.
Yeah, it's herbalism.
At level 1, could somebody use or take those 8 weeks and like make the really good potion? I don't remember which one it is.
They could, but there's a cost to it. You have to spend X amount to actually do it. So at first level, theoretically, but you would have to have like 250 on hand, or I guess 2,500 on hand to actually make it.
PDF is being slow.
Because at least
Waiting on a
regular,
PDF to load.
yeah, because regular potions, it's like 25 gold to make
It's
it, and 8 hours.
4 work weeks, and it's 10,000 gold. So if they had 10,000 gold, yeah.
Oh, 10,000.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then
What
the
is
next-
this really good potion she
Is
speaks
that for a
of?
supreme?
Supreme healing. It's like 8d4 or 16d4.
I think it's 16d4 plus 16.
It's got all the toppings.
And then
Yeah.
the next one down is 1,000, and then 100, and then 25. And like, so if
Yeah,
it's
fuck you
a
too.
if it's a character that like it makes sense that they're a potion brewer, then yeah, they'd be able to do that. Morgan, like a first level character could be crafting healing potions. They probably don't like greater healing at 100 gold. They might be able to like craft a few of those maybe. But also, you kind of need to know what you're doing. So like, as long as that's built into the backstory, yeah, that's fine. Like Tombe being part of the Alchemist Guild, it kind of makes sense that he would like know how to do that. Or at least be able to devise how to do that by himself. Yeah.
And for that, just because it's been a while, would you be willing to remind me of how much time it is to make each level of potion? I know it's 8 hours for
It's
first.
a day,
for
a single day, work day for healing, like the normal healing potion.
Yeah.
And greater is a work week, superior is 3 weeks, and supreme is 4 weeks.
Okay.
So today, a week, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Okay. And do I have any
So,
fancy shit?
nobody's going to the archery, or nobody just wants to hang out during that time or talk to anybody?
I'm gonna work through at least that first day to make a couple of I'm gonna work a full 16-hour day to make 2 regular
that'd be
potions at least.
50 gold.
At least I'll hang out and watch it.
I'll go watch V.
And you have herbalism kit proficiency, Tombe?
Aye. Yep.
Okay. Doesn't. Oh yeah, complications. That's right. Roll a d100 and roll a 60 to 70.
Jesus, with you it's always either 60 to
Yes!
70 to 80.
Yes! I rolled for him. He's
No, you
screwed.
did not.
What'd you
Yes.
God damn it. I rolled a 68. Fuck you.
roll?
I'm doing this shit in house, so there's only so much that can go wrong.
So Aelva's gonna
Oh,
be pissed at you. Is what you're saying? Roll a d6.
God damn it. Okay. This isn't even a full week of downtime, it's a day.
Blow your hand off.
3.
Look at the chat. Look at the chat. That's what I rolled like a minute and a half ago.
Bruh.
Okay. Well, that kind of fits.
Oh, no.
So I will be informing you after all of this plays out what the complication says in the book. I think that it's going to be a very logical and rational jump to take. So just go with me on this for now. Remy, roll a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh
save.
shit!
Remy roll. Wait. What? I'm so.
I love this. I love this.
Probably pass. It's a 16 plus. I don't know where my binder is. Oh, there it is. 16 plus 7.
Okay.
So over.
So you succeed. So you don't have to do what I'm about to say, but maybe you want to. You're sitting down in Tombei's workshop, watching him doing this process. He's mixing various things in kind of powder forms. He's created a kind of a deep red paste, and now he's mixing in bits of boiling, like purified water. So he boils water to purify it, and then mix it into this paste so that it's loosening up into what you know as a healing potion. And so he's letting that sit, and he heads upstairs. He's going to go grab some food. He's kind of hungry. And Remy is left alone with Maud sitting on the table. And Remy, you're kind of like peeking on the table, looking at all of the things. You know this table is human height, specifically so Clint doesn't root around in Tombei's shit. So you're kind of peeking over the table looking. And you get this like this weird urge to grab this bit of leaf you see and kind of powderize it and add it, and you think in the depths of your being that this is gonna help. Like, I know that herb, it's used as like a disinfectant often. I've used it myself before. It can only help this process, right? And like maybe earlier you had suggested that and Tobey was like, no, I don't really like that idea, I'm not gonna do that. And so, but you're in your head thinking like he should have added it. It was gonna make it better. He's not listening to me. And so this is going through your head, and you see Maud. She sees you and like sees the wheels turning, and like looks at the plant, and looks back at you, and looks at the plant, and she's just going back and forth while you're trying to decide what to do.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Obviously, that's the right thing to do. Like, it'll make the potion better.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it in there.
You don't know how to do this shit.
But she is a healer. Like, I see how like this works pretty. I like how this works.
So roll a nature check to make sure you grab the right ingredient. You kind of hop up there and are reaching to grab this thing. Get a stool.
Justin, if it makes you feel any better, I do not have any blood leaf owned at the moment.
Maybe you do. Maybe that's what you did in that week you weren't here.
Can I mage hand to grab it?
Yeah, sure. Still a nature check, though.
Still a nature check? Okay.
Make sure you don't get, like, poison ivy or something.
I had to
I like that face.
Oh, no.
6.
I like that face. What'd you roll?
No. Fuck. God damn it.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Maybe she has a +5.
No, I have a +2 to nature.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm just trying to make it even more ridiculous.
Maybe I should just stop playing D&D, because when I'm not here, people get level ups. When I'm here, apparently Remy ruins potions.
Oh boy.
Well, obviously this is the right ingredient to put in. You should have listened to me and put it in. It would make the potion better.
Bitch, you don't know it.
Herbalism kit too. I'm a doctor. I know.
Morgan, roll.
You don't know how potions work, apparently.
Roll a d20 first.
Yes, Badger?
Remember,
Natural 20?
testing.
3. We wanted a natural 20 on that one. So 2d6.
Remember Reese testing all those on
2d6.
Nero?
Yeah.
This should come up in.
And 4.
You had it coming.
So
these are
4 and
completely different characters.
6 and 4?
Yeah.
So 10 total?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So you mash that up with a mortar and pestle, and like you're doing it with the mage hand. So I imagine the mortar is kind of just rolling around while you're doing this, and Maud is like trying to hold it for you, and then you kind of dump it in there. And as you dump it in, it does like pop and sizzle, and like you see little like puffs of steam come up. And then it kind of settles. It bubbles and froths a little bit, but then it settles, and more water is being boiled into this thing as it's going. So it keeps bubbling until the little vial he has is full. And it looks a little like, if you were to really pay attention, it's a little orange, like just a touch of orange has been added to this red potion.
Oh no.
But by all other accords, this has worked. Tombe, roll an insight check when you come back downstairs.
Yeah, because I'm gonna end up making 2 of these in total.
And Remy, roll a performance check or a stealth check. Or a deception check, whichever's better.
Insight? Okay, that's not bad. I want to hear what hers is first. I've got mine.
Natural fucking 20.
I rolled a 1 though.
What's your total?
Plus deception or performance are both +3, so it'd be a 23.
Fuck. Okay, well, I rolled a 21.
So as you pick up the vial, Remy just kind of skips off. Oh, everything went blank. What happened?
Oh, fuck.
Remy just skips off upstairs, and you don't know anything's wrong. But when you do pick the potion up, you see Maud dives behind a book, and then like peeks her head out and sees that you haven't exploded, and then she just kind of walks out and shrugs.
Wait. Before you go, what was that?
What was what? She says.
What? Why were you diving? Why were you diving for cover the moment I grabbed that?
Conrad told me to train even when I'm not training. So sometimes, like when people make sudden moves, I'll just dive for cover.
I don't believe you.
Roll an insight check. Let's see if you do. That's better.
21.
Ooh.
Where's her persuasion check? Tombe.
That's super
16.
suspicious.
What'd you roll? I rolled a 16.
21.
Not they one. She just kind of makes this face.
No.
And then she's like,
No.
Well, so here's the thing. Zip, and she goes invisible and starts to fly towards the stairs.
Fucking.
And she has a flyby feature, so she doesn't provoke opportunity attacks when she flies out of your reach. So you can't even do anything about it. She dashes up the stairs.
Fuck.
So just mark a little asterisk next to
just,
that healing potion.
With that insanity, can I, with that insight check, would I be smart enough with my intelligence
you could roll
to look at the potion itself, see if something was changed?
Roll an Arcana check.
Could I do a nature check?
No, I think it's more Arcana because you're like inspecting. Well, hold on. Let me look at the things.
I believe herbalism is based on nature, I believe.
Yeah, but it's like the potion itself is a magical potion, but the herbalism kit might like actually have a function that allows you to inspect things.
I rolled it either way. I can get you an Arcana check if you need it.
Okay, do you have alchemist supplies? I think alchemist supplies is what I'm thinking of.
Tinker's tools, poisoner's kit, wood carver's tools, herbal kit. Ironically, not alchemist supplies.
Yeah, so alchemist supplies would allow you to identify a thing. So just roll an Arcana check.
22.
So you definitely you notice that the color is a little off. If you give it just a little taste with your finger, it tastes a little bitter to your taste. But you're not quite sure what that effect will be. But you definitely know that there's something clearly, like Remy skipped off really quickly. And so you didn't really get a beat on her. She was just gone. But the fact that she left so quickly and then Maud was being suspicious, you think that maybe they either intentionally or accidentally added something, but you're not sure what it was, unless you get it out of them.
So I get the feeling that it's not going to function.
It will.
Most likely
You
as
think
a
that it
normal
functions
healing
as
potion.
a healing potion, but there might be an additional effect. Like whatever they have added doesn't seem to have like stopped the healing potion from brewing properly. But it's as if there's another mixture in there that isn't quite gelling. Like there's two things gonna be happening, and that's what's leading to like the color change.
Okay.
It's kind of like it's probably mottled and kind of like spotted.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, do you want me to just write that down as what, like healing potion?
Healing potion,
asterisk?
yeah, with an asterisk.
Okay. In that case, I'll spend the second time also making another healing potion. The other 8 hours of that day.
Okay, so you do that. That's just 50 gold total. So the first competition is the beginning of the archery. The next competition is the first round of the formation melee. If anybody wants to go and watch that, you can.
Elise will probably hang out and watch all of it.
Okay.
I'll at least go watch V into archery. She's doing
Justin,
archery, right? Yeah.
Justin, do you mind if I ask what the complication actually was?
Oh, right. I was
Because
going
you
to
said
tell
you would say it after it was resolved.
Let me find it again. It was just like a local wizard takes interest in your brewing and asks to observe you. And that's like what Morgan had already done.
Okay.
She's like, I want to watch. And so I decided to maybe allow her to fuck with things. Yeah,
As per
Okay.
usual.
A local wizard shows keen interest in your work and insists on observing you.
So when I said I want to watch, I was referring to Elise watching the...
Well, too bad. We're here.
It makes a difference now, but...
Well, you know, Morgan, you say things and they happen.
True.
So
Reb, you watch Victoria compete. Let me find a character sheet really quickly.
yeah. The second
the clear leaders in archery are Dagon and Alan Daylock. Dagon is the leader of the cavalrymen, and Alan seems to be his right-hand guy. You see Duke Creel, he competes. Various characters have run into him. Gendry is quite clearly the worst of the bunch. Victorica is kind of middle of the pack. You could roll a perception check, though.
Okay, who did you say was the best in archery? It was
Dagon
and...
Alan Daylock.
I cheer her like she's doing the best.
From Engstag, they're Stagian cavalry.
11.
There's like another woman that is competing, but you've never seen her before, and she isn't announced like with a name, so you're not sure exactly who that is. But she is also doing quite well in the first round.
Is it very odd to be announced with no name or not announced?
It just means she's not nobility, and is paid entry. But, yeah.
Okay.
And so I mean like the lower end people probably don't get announced just because they don't have like a impressive title.
Mm-hmm.
If they're just a knight, they don't really get announced that way. So that's just the first round of the archery.
Not like Rimothy's title.
No, definitely not. So then the next event is the beginning of the formation melee. You see a group of dwarves. I believe it's... I can't remember which company is competing and which is not. I fucked this up last time, too.
Tom would like to actually go and watch the second day of the tournament.
Where are you? There you are. Okay. So it's a group of the captain's Dorvish mercenaries. The captain himself doesn't compete, but a group of them do go in, and they basically form a shield wall with various axes and pole axes, spears. They compete against a group of Vestran infantry, knights, and a couple men-at-arms kind of in the back for mobility. They compete. The dwarves seem to get the better of them. They break their formation and push to the other end of the field and win that round. The next event is the duel. So, Reb, you're up.
Justin?
Yeah.
When are these all on the first day?
Yeah, this is all the first day. So they just do rounds, kind of, and that begins to kind of thin the field until they get into like a proper bracket.
Oh,
Is
shit.
the first day the same as the that first all-out melee
No.
clusterfuck?
No.
Okay.
In that case,
Then,
could that... oh, sorry.
Basically, they set up in the field where that clusterfuck was. They set up whatever event is happening, and then they do it in front of people, and then they move on to the next event.
So, Justin, on that note, could the making of potions with that mix-up been able to have happened during the day of the initial
Clustery?
the initial clusterfuck that I forgot the review, I think it was called?
Yes, yeah.
Perfect. I'd
Because that first day is technically part of the
tournament.
This
the tournament,
2 weeks.
Okay. Just making sure.
And if you want to attend like Reb's event specifically while you're doing downtime, you can like find an hour in the day to like not sleep later, but attend Reb's thing.
If anything, part of it is I'd like to be rubbing shoulders with some of the people from Gate at the minimum,
Like literally rubbing shoulders.
along with some of the people from the nobility here in Vestra, but especially with like some of the potions and shit towards
I have no idea where the
those
fuck I am.
You're
on
not
one
there
side
yet.
of the Civil War.
Did I copy you? I guess not. I'll be back. Hold on.
Oof.
Also, the other thing is, if this is the second day, then Aj and Morgan, what we discussed, like I come home and tell you guys about that.
What we discussed.
Wait, did you send something to the chat that I'm not recognizing?
No, it's the thing we chatted about yesterday.
Oh, just that general conversation.
Just that whole thing, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That
Well,
Morgan probably
also-
didn't read.
Also, I don't know if it would be considered bad manners. Probably would be, but before you go out into your duel, I will slip you a couple of vials of D6 or 2d6 poisons, not potions. Up to you if you want to use them or not. Your choice.
Morgan, do you remember or have you read anything about what we spoke of yesterday?
I'm reading it now.
She definitely hasn't made any messages for any of that. Badger, you got the whole poisons thing, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, yep. Like I said, in case you want to use them, your choice.
Understood, thank you.
Also, it's up to at least to bargain for how much we get for anyone that you can capture, which could actually be a good way to gain some extra money at the minimum for the bar.
Reb, you show up to the tents that day. Who are you just kind of standing on the sidelines, or do you go and sit with anyone specifically? I know you sat with Dagon and his crew last time.
Do we know who the matchups are beforehand?
You do to an extent. I mean, so today you're not fighting any of them. That's far enough. Like the actual person you'd be fighting is just a knight that you don't recognize today. You don't recognize his name. Just a Sir Tanner. Sure.
Tanner?
Yeah, Sir Tanner.
I mean, if that's fine with them, just go. congratulate her on
that's
her
good.
archery. You know, to congratulate them, to talk a little bit.
So if you look at the map, you guys are on this, yeah. So if you look at the map, this is the kind of territory, and Elise is kind of off the map to the north, sitting at the tent. Tombe, you know, is allowed to be on the field with you with up to 3 extra weapons, in case any weapons are broken. And if you're disarmed, he's not allowed to give you a new weapon, but if your weapon breaks, he is.
Okay.
So he can be within, you know, a short distance. He's just not to interfere.
What weapons will he get?
As your name is called, I remember you gave a name, but it was something strange.
It was Beck.
Beck. Yes.
Just
So
Beck.
they announced that Beck.
Also Beck with the Squire of Release. With the D6 inspiration. Because, fuck no.
You see Sir Tanner is announced. He rides kind of up to you on horseback. And kind of gestures out towards the field. Basically, what you've seen up to this point is the 2 competitors decide where they would like to fight on the field. If you look at the dark green, those are kind of raised hills. The lighter green is like the lower elevation. And then the brown is dirt. And then we'll roll for weather to see whether it's raining or not.
Wait, Reb, are you going to fight?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a quick question before Reb goes to fight.
Yeah. Give me a D20, James.
Sorry.
So,
Yeah.
with a spell that has a time limit and
4.
concentration...
Another one, James.
Never mind, I don't even have it. I like.
1.
Okay.
Haste has a
1 more.
concentration of 1 minute, and when it ends, even if you end it early,
16.
Reb loses a round.
So there is
It is
a
stone, which is
light
really bad.
rain coming down, no wind, and it's just a little chilly, like right around 50 degrees out. But there is a light rain coming down. The dirt hasn't turned into mud pits yet, but it's on its way there. So he kind of gestures. He's on horseback, but you do know he'll dismount eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah, whenever you decide where you want to fight, basically.
Can I ride up on Tombe?
Yeah, if you really
No.
want to.
He could be my mount.
No.
Okay, I'm
No.
sorry. You said the green area is where we are. That's the lower.
That's the higher. So
We're in the higher.
Yeah.
And
so
the
you're
mud.
kind of
Oh,
up
the
on
mud
a
pits
hill.
are the mud pits. That makes sense.
And the lighter green is the lower elevation.
Wait, so it goes higher elevation, mud pits at the bottom, and then lower elevation?
Like that mud pit here is like kind of up on a raised portion.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
And then might probably get kind of a little bit lower here because there's low elevation.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay,
Does the
sorry.
mud pit,
I mean, in general, like I would assume that the muddy, like if it gets really muddy, that the muddy stuff is kind of lower elevation as well. Because it
Does
would kind of tend to
give any
come
difficult
down.
terrain or anything?
Yeah.
mud?
So the was it the lower or the higher? I think the lower terrain is difficult terrain because it has tall grass in it.
Okay, that's the light
And
green.
then the
Bluish green. Yeah.
that's the light green. Yeah, is tall grass, and that just halves your speed. And then the mud it isn't difficult terrain yet, but there's a small chance that you'll fall
Okay.
if you really fuck up. Like maybe a natural one, might be a slip. And it's to the when if it gets more muddy, basically it'll be the rules kind of like ice, where if you dash, there's a chance you're gonna slide and fall and that sort of thing. It'll be a proper hazard, but as of right now, it's not quite.
Okay, make it the other red. Make it back.
Sure.
And also, I'll propose to him just
There's that.
Okay.
'Cause that's just.
I'll just kind of suggest kind of right where we are, and if we feel while dodging, we could get into the mud or whatever, but just a pretty straight.
Okay. So yeah, you gesture
fight
just
on the
kind
land.
of right in front, and like to the extent that like, you know, the tents are maybe 30 to 50 feet north of you, so that's kind of right up in front of everybody. So you just gesture there, and he looks and nods and hops, you know, gets down off his horse. His squire one of his squires kind of leads the horse to an attendant. You see this squire here has lances in hand, or spears rather. So you see this guy is just wielding a spear and a shield.
Question.
Yeah.
Not to really be like that guy or anything.
I feel like you're about to be that guy, though.
I'm about to be that guy, and I'm sorry, but with Elise being Reb's official squire, would Tom even be anywhere? Would Tom even be allowed anywhere near?
Did I mix that up? I thought Tombe was a squire. Elise is a squire.
Yeah,
okay. I just mixed that up.
They said Elise was the squire because. Yeah, I wasn't here to let Tom be a slave.
If you wanted to be sitting with them earlier, you could have been. The Dagon and his cavalrymen have been given a tent and kind of a seat of importance as guests. I don't remember if you saw that part. So they have a tent kind of right up front, and they have a table out front where Reb and Elise were sitting. So if you wanted to be sitting with them, you could. And you'd just be 50 feet to the north.
Okay.
Wait, Elise would be or Tom would be?
Tom.
Yeah.
Tom
would be. Rumethy, apparently.
Yes.
During I don't know why it's that at the moment, but at least during this fight, I'll be there, but during some of the others during the day, I would like to be like basically rubbing shoulders with those over at the gate.
Okay.
Tent, fucking 400 feet away or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like it's at the southeast from us right now.
Yeah, I believe as you described the very back corner where it's technically you're allowed here, but hey, fuck you.
Yeah. Okay, so as you walk up, he dismounts. You see he's hefting kind of a heavy spear and a shield, and kind of starts to step towards you. And he kind of, you know, helmet's off at this point, so it's kind of a slow start, I guess. And so he kind of bows to the king, and then bows to you, and helmets up. And that's kind of a general process. Is like the people salute the king and then bow to their opponent, and then it's go time. So he kind of hefts his spear and gets into a fighting stance.
Okay.
And we
I'll do the same, and at the ready.
I don't know if it matters. It probably doesn't, but just a small housekeeping note.
Uh-huh.
Tom is still wearing his breastplate that he has.
Okay. So I rolled a 13.
4.
So he will
Just practice rolls.
I'm actually going to roll for his squire as well. Let me set up some...
His squire's gonna fight me. Bastard.
Just fucking murder the squire. Oof. Sorry, YouTube, for the swears. We know we're not going to get monetized anyways.
No, fuck you.
This is adult content,
and
not
then
Elise content.
roll a initiative roll as well, just cause.
Why is Elise rolling initiative?
In case Reb breaks his weapon. Her weapon.
Can I roll initiative in case Reb goes down and needs healing?
If you really want to, sure. And Reb, what was your initiative?
4.
Yikes.
Oh, yikes. Oh, fuck. Oh.
11 for Elise.
27. Tom is ready when need be.
Like, you just add with my extra stuff. Like, come on.
You got this. Come on.
And Elise.
It's 27. Apologies.
Doesn't change anything.
If it says anything, that was a natural 19. Dear God.
Elise, did you give me a number yet?
Yep, told twice.
Oh, what was it? 11.
Okay.
Okay, so Sir Tanner goes first. He checks the range on what he's thinking. So he steps forward and lobs a spear at you, James.
Mm-hmm. I've got the Cloak of Displacement on.
Okay, so disadvantage. So that is 11 to hit. So he throws it, and it goes through the kind of strange shifting shapes. And he kind of cocks his head and doesn't really believe what he just saw. And he puts his hand out for another spear. Elise, it's your turn. You want to do anything?
Just watch.
Reb, you go.
Alright. I am going to... Just 1, 2... That's within distance, yeah.
Yeah, it's 10 feet if that's what you want.
I don't know what my roll does anymore.
As you come into... Oh, you're not in range. Never mind. Continue.
17 to hit.
17 does not hit, so he gets his shield up and kind of he honestly goes he puts his shield in front of him and actually blocks his own vision, you see. And so as you're striking, you just notice that he's actually going for a shove with his second attack because he doesn't have a weapon drawn at the moment. But he goes for like a shove basically, and if you had close distance, he would have hit that shove on you first. But because you're out of range, it doesn't connect.
Okay. Second would be 23.
23 hits.
And these are all non-lethal, of course.
Yeah, again, if you want to kill somebody, let me know. I'll just assume that they're all non-lethal for now.
That would be 15 damage on that.
Jesus. How?
Rolled a 9 on the D10, and then I have a +6 for my modifier.
Seemed like a lot, but okay. So 15. So
my strength is +5, and
you
then
see that he's
+1.
blind, and you immediately go for the feet, and you almost take his feet out from under him, and he kind of rolls to get out of it. But you hear him kind of hit the dirt, or hit the grass rather, and you hear the wind kind of get knocked out of him. He stands back up quite quickly, and he's really reaching for a spear now.
Do that third attack with
the squire uses his held action to dash over and drops a spear kind of into his hand. It's at his feet mechanically, but into his hand.
Okay. So third attack with the butt there.
Right.
LOL. That's a 22, I believe. Yeah.
Hits.
That's a D4 or D6. I haven't done that for so long.
It's a D4, I believe.
I believe it's D4, right?
It's a D4 because we were hoping for at least a D6 with the magical one that we're making.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully
that thing.
Hopefully a fuck ton of range. You know, that thing that'll take half a year to make.
True. It's only half a year if you double time.
I mean, still, that's a lot of time.
Yes.
It's been 1 week.
That's 8 damage for that one.
Okay. So you, as he's reaching for his spear, he finally gets it, but you get a kind of a butt to strike up under his ribs, and he kind of reels back from that. Rimothy?
Okay, so that was, 1, 2, that was 3, gonna 4, 5, hit down to 6 there.
Can I use my action to try and recall if I've ever heard about this either knight or
you have
noble?
Not. You
okay.
have not, yeah. He's like a lower end guy.
Okay. As I
he's
say,
just like they announce him as Sir Tanner, so that means he's just like he probably has a little bit of land, and then that's probably about it.
Okay, yeah, that was what I was wanting to know is if estimated about how much wealth he may or may not have.
Yeah, like a lower end noble, wealthy but not too wealthy.
Okay.
So cool. Squire holds his turn again. Tanner has a spear. He's gonna dash in. Probably take an attack opportunity.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
I guess he's not dashing.
Nat 20.
Yikes. Roll damage.
And he's stuck. Let's see. Fucking max 10.
Yikes. So as you're rushing in, you catch him under the jaw with an upswing, and his head snaps back, and he rolls down the hill into the dirt, unconscious.
18 total, if that matters.
Yeah, 10 did it. So he slides to a stop down the hill. The squire rushes down and kind of wakes him up, gets him rolled onto his side. In a moment, he does wake up.
I'll go down there and just kind of give a hand to like help him up, like
little loopy, but he manages, and he just says, "Nice blow." And he just kind of,
like, thank you.
He just nods his head, and kind of his squire helps him up the hill, and they just walk towards where you were sitting earlier. People clap, and there's some light cheering, and then the bout is over.
And I believe that would be considered a capture.
Indeed. So he comes and sits with you. The squire kind of collects the weapons from him, and places them on the table. And they don't start negotiating right away. This is something you've picked up on, that again, they use these opportunities to network a little bit, but also part of it is you're wondering if they're waiting for you to get like drunk to have this go on. There's a lot of that going around. So he doesn't mention anything about negotiation until you bring it up, basically.
I'd like to ask him first about where exactly his land may be, where he's a knight of, etc.
So he's just a Vestra knight. Roll a persuasion check.
That'll be good. 19.
So he owns a small homestead and some farming plots north of Fordrum, and so he manages some farmland, some serfs, have homesteads on his land, farm his land, and basically all the money and stuff goes through him, basically. And so he has a small kind of like manor house out there.
Okay.
And that's a very common like setup. Like that's kind of how most of the knights are rewarded, is with farmland.
At least with her reconnaissance, any idea what this might be worth?
1 second, hold on.
I'm sorry, no. Who was doing the reconnaissance? It was
that was Tom, who was trying to think.
Rubbing shoulders and shit. Yeah.
Well, at least during the fight was more the thought of him thinking, okay, about how much would this guy be worth?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. But
just,
any idea here, Raj?
Somebody roll an insight check.
I got this.
Whoever you were just talking about. I can't remember if it was.
That was Tom.
It was Rimothy.
Right. Insight check, please.
Oof. So that's 13. I can math.
1 second. So
That would have been 22 for
lifestyle.
Oh, sorry, bud.
Lifestyle expenses is 4 gold a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's wealthy. Aristocratic is 10 gold, so that's kind of the range you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Aristocratic would be like the lower end, like proper lords. This guy's just a knight, so he's probably somewhere around that wealthy category. So
They
somewhere
said it was-
around 4 gold, and then you basically multiply that by 30. So you
For
basically,
a month's pay.
yeah, Dagon said a month's pay is kind of where it starts. So somewhere around 30. You also know, based on what you've seen earlier, and based on what Dagon told you, I can't remember if Dagon told you this, but if it's a competition that involves a horse, you get to decide whether you want to keep the horse. There's no horse here, but there is weapons and armor, and so you are well within your rights to request his armor and weaponry. Taking the weaponry is kind of okay as long as it's not like an heirloom or like an important sword. This guy was fighting with blunted spears, so you think that taking the spears wouldn't be that big of a deal. Taking a guy's armor is a little bit more frowned upon, because while it is worth money and is very useful, a lot of these people have armor that's custom for them. So taking a guy's armor is kind of like a fuck you. But that is within your right to own his armor now if you would like.
Just out of curiosity, what was you wearing?
Chainmail, and he had a shield. Just a normal kite shield.
If I was to give a guesstimate, I would suggest requiring a minimum of 120 gold pieces for his release. At a minimum.
I was thinking instead of 4 a day, he was a little bit better than that, but not like wealthy, so maybe 5 and then times 30.
Well, because Morgan isn't apparently here right now to do the bargaining out.
I'm
happy
here.
to have you.
But like we can't see you, you know. We assume you're gone.
I'm doing shit, man. I gotta fly in the morning.
Boo!
Boo.
Boo!
Boo.
So yeah, do you guys just want to break into negotiation?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a little regretful is not the right word. Reluctant, because again, I think he was waiting for you to get a little tipsy before engaging. But because he's kind of creeped out by you, and because you're not like a known person, he's also not interested in networking with you really. And you're sitting with
damn.
but he doesn't like. He's just like. He doesn't really have a reason to interact with Dagon and his crew because they're foreigners, and then like you're this creepy lady that conked him on the head almost immediately, and so he's a little like upset about losing probably too.
Can at least try and chat with him and network with him a little bit.
Yeah, what would you say?
I could say yeah. That's why I bring these two along. They're good at it. I'm the strong but silent type right now.
What do you say to him?
That was some that was a good fight you did out there. Sorry you had to go up against this bitch over here.
He's like,
they think I'm a guy. I'm doing the guy thing again.
He says, I'm glad it looked a little more even on the outside, because on the inside it felt, and he kind of rubs his jaw, felt a little abrupt is a word I would use.
Roll for sarcasm.
I've been fighting with Beck for quite a while now. I'd say there was just some lucky swings in there.
He says, I didn't really know what to expect with any kind of points at the armor she's wearing. It's like, does she wear that to intimidate people because she can't fight, or does she have armor like that because she can fight? And I think it's the latter rather than the former now.
Definitely because she can.
Just all of the above. Yes.
That's why I keep Beck around.
A little bit above.
He just nods.
From there, I'll kind of just try to get to know him a little bit, learn more about his positions, like make friends with him basically.
Yeah.
So
roll a persuasion check.
Okay. 17 plus. What's my persuasion?
I don't know.
I don't know. What is your persuasion? It's like +5 or some shit, I think.
No, that's Remy.
Yeah, Remy's got like a
plus 3, so dirty 20.
Wrong person.
Nice chair, Badger.
Wait, Badger, when did you get a new chair? What the fuck?
So yeah, he's kind of receptive to that. He warms up as you're speaking with him. So what do you guys offer? Or I guess it's kind of the other way around. What do you guys want out of this guy as far as gold is concerned?
Technically, I believe that's Remy's, either Remy or Reb to request, I believe.
Reb, yeah.
You said he was probably worth about 4 gold a day?
Yeah, they were thinking like 120 gold is kind of a good minimum.
Yeah, we were thinking minimum 120.
And again, you could take his armor and weaponry if you would like. The weaponry is kind of useless. It's blunted spears. But you could take the armor and the shield. They're in working condition and worth a little bit of money. But again, it's kind of it's a fuck you. Like the shield is personalized with his banner on it.
Yeah.
And his armor is kind of fitted to him.
No such thing. None of that. Not even the weapons or anything.
Taking the armor is kind of just BM.
Yeah. Did the weapons seem worth?
No, they were just like rounded off spears, basically.
Since it's a negotiation, I'm gonna say we start at 160.
Damn, boy.
Damn.
Okay, Elise, roll either an intimidation check or a persuasion check.
Damn.
It's a negotiation, man. I expect them to shoot low and.
Oh fuck! It's been over a week. I wasted that fucking piece of poison shit. Damn.
Oh yeah, I've got inspirations. Fuck yeah. I need
You've
those.
You've still got a D6 inspiration.
2 times.
Say again, Morgan.
16.
16. I actually rolled a 16 on the dot as well, so just roll a dice again. 6.
Are you doing persuasion or intimidation?
It's the same either way, so it doesn't really matter.
What do you pick?
Well,
probably
it depends. Like if you're doing like intimidation, I'd like to maybe assist somehow. Maybe just
She
with
said
my
persuasion.
presence and a growl.
I'd go with persuasion.
Okay.
6
what
for
did
me.
you- 8.
8.
Trying to make
So
friends.
he accepts that.
That's
What did
true,
you say?
that's right.
170.
100. No, I
She
said
said 60.
She said 165.
Okay,
I think.
whatever she said. 160. Well, I can
160.
watch her back later.
160. Sure.
So
160.
his squire runs off, comes back a moment later, with a purse filled with 160 gold.
I expected him to fight a lot more on that one, actually.
That was a persuasion check, my dude.
He shakes your hand, says good fight, and he heads off back to wherever he was sitting.
Did we get
Do
his
the
name?
same shake and then the head
Sir
bows.
Sir Tanner is his name.
Are we going to be putting these in group funds or just straight into Reb and Elise's pockets? Because if so, y'all can just split it up.
Rimothy doesn't want any?
I mean, I would like some if possible.
That was my idea. You know, you guys all came out here. If you're present for this, helping, doing the networking for us. You know, you guys earned some.
Boo.
Doing whatever we can to help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So after
I'll accept that.
after.
Oh.
Yeah, so after all of the first round of those 3 events, the first day has concluded. So there's some feasting and partying that night if you'd like to meet up with anybody. But that's the end of the first day of the tournament.
Yes, I would like to meet up with some people. I'm bad at talking as a person.
Alright. Cheers.
But-
Roll it.
So Tombe wants to party.
If anything, at least I would like to conversate with those over at Gate for a short bit.
Okay. Anybody else?
Also, I would like to ask around and see if there's a betting pool that's being started for each individual round, or if it's just between those actually competing.
Yeah, I haven't even really considered that, but yeah,
Gamble.
there'd be various betting like outfits. I think that it'd be really obvious that Aova would have a betting system set up with the gambling hall. But basically, any tavern probably has something running.
Yeah,
And
as I
there's
said,
probably larger betting halls somewhere, but the gambling hall upstairs probably is a good place.
Yeah, I was more just wondering if there was anything like out here in the field, anyone amongst the crowd.
No, I think
that's what I was
they'd
thinking,
They'd
too.
be avoiding that to avoid taxing that money, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
So I think that'd be run like kind of not illegal necessarily because gambling isn't illegal, but like it'd be something that's more of like, oh no, this is a private thing. Like this is friends like
Yeah,
exchanging good, like gold is exchanging hands between friends, not as we're not
it's-
betting. We're
It's like doing a football pool at your work. You're not gambling. You're just
fantasy
basically-
football.
you're making
They're
guesses.
playing D&D.
Yeah. So at least for the next day of the duels, I would like to after we funnel out of the partying, what little bit happens.
And then Rebel East, do you want to go with him or not?
I don't know if I want to do it at our bar because like that's just taking funds away from our own shit. I think because I feel like that would just be dumb. Because am I wrong in that sense?
Yes. The bar is going to
Okay.
make 5% regardless.
Okay, never mind then. Fuck it. I'll just do it at our own bar.
I'll chill with my my new angsty friends.
Okay. Tombe, roll a
Try to get laid
persuasion
again.
check. And Sorry, so you wanted to go over there, but there was something specific you wanted to ask about, right? I forgot. What was it?
No, it wasn't anything specific that I can think of.
Oh, no, it was keeping your ear open for a betting pool. Was that what it was?
No, it was the talking with the people over at Gate was more of trying to make a connection with them, and instead of offering up the gold cost for what carousing would be, offering like the healing potion, because especially since they're going into a civil war.
I see. Roll a persuasion check.
Oh fuck. Oh, I
Is
think
that a good one or a bad one?
No, I think it's a new record for how long it took for the alcohol to hit me, but it just hit me.
Okay.
Persuasion, you said?
Yeah.
I think that's a 16. Yeah, 16.
So you walk that direction as the kind of feasting begins. There's people kind of milling about. What you see as you come up, though, is the gate point guys are very heavily guarded again because of the turmoil that's happening on the skirmishes. So it's very evident that without a connection, it's going to be hard to get past those guards. What you do see as you walk up is Rebecca, an archer, is smoking a cigarette kind of off to the side, kind of staying out of people's business and just kind of looking out over things. Mm-hmm. And she recognizes you and kind of gives you a nod. You met her down in Gate when you guys traveled there. And she just gives you a nod like, oh, hey. And just keeps smoking her cigarette. You see she has an eye patch that she usually covers an eye with. It's flipped up. And there's an intact eye underneath.
Yeah, I figure for aiming with archery.
She seems to prefer one eye over two in that case.
Did she compete during the archery section of the tournament?
She was, yeah. She competed and got through the first round, basically.
Was she the other woman who was good, or is that another unidentified
that
woman?
was another unidentified woman. Though, I mean, there was a name. You could roll a perception check. There was a name said. I forgot about that part. They do. She doesn't have a title, but they still do say her name.
21.
21?
21.
7.
So Tombe, you heard it. It was Artemis was her name.
Artemis?
Yeah.
Artemis Fowl?
And Rebecca competed. The archery begins as a point-based system. So Rebecca was kind of upper middle pack of the pack.
Hey Rebecca, it's been a while. Good shooting out there.
She just kind of nods and looks at you. She has kind of sharp eyes. She says, yeah, I know your face. I don't remember your name. Who are you?
It was Thomas. It's been a while.
That doesn't sound right. Do you go by a different name? You use a different name sometimes? No, it doesn't matter. You had that, there was a carriage with like a ballista on top, wasn't it? You guys rolled through a war zone. Yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah, some of my friends, they have interesting tastes.
She just nods. And she offers you a cigarette. She's rolled.
I take it and start to smoke it.
Roll a constitution to see if you cough.
I will not.
I don't think Rimothy is a smoker.
That is up for you to decide, Dodge.
I will choose not to, but I will make it I'm not trying to like accentuate it, but I am going super slow on it.
I did not inhale.
Yes.
But yeah.
So she doesn't really say anything. She just keeps smoking.
Yeah.
Eventually, she finishes her cigarette and like gives you a nod and heads off back towards her table.
I'd like to try and just walk in there nonchalantly with her.
Okay, roll a performance check.
Okay. A 16.
16. Okay. So as you're walking, you kind of just flank in behind her, draft a little bit. She doesn't seem to really notice you, but two guards do kind of give you a look as you walk past, but see, like, Rebecca's letting you walk close enough to her that, and not raising hell, so, like, they check you out to make sure you don't look dangerous, and you don't.
I really don't.
They kind of just watch you as you walk past. She sits at a table with Broderick and Sebastian. You see a few feet away. There's another table. Hector and his brother Elijah are sitting there. Kenneth is sitting at their table.
Is there an open seat at the table with?
Yeah, there's a couple at each.
Okay, I'd like to just sit down at one of them with Broderick and them.
They all kind of acknowledge you, and like again, they recognize you, but they probably don't remember your name. Yeah. Rebecca, when she sees you, she just kind of cocks her head, like, "Oh, he followed me." Okay, and like
it's okay.
Sebastian like gives her a look, like, "What did you?"
The puppy
like,
followed me home.
You bring a straggler, and Rebecca just kind of gives him a shrug. There's food and drink laid out.
Yeah.
If you'd like to partake.
A little bit. I don't go. I don't try and seem like I'm impeding on them. I try not to overdo it, if that makes sense.
And then, do you want to talk to any of them specifically, or just kind of hang out for a while and listen in?
I'd like to hang out, listen in, and occasionally bring up the topic of how there's a lot of shit that seems like is lining up and tensions are getting high.
Okay, roll a perception.
If they need anything, I am working as an alchemist at the moment, just freelancing. Is it persuasion or?
Yeah.
20 total.
Okay. Hold on, I'll look at my notes.
And when I say that I've been freelancing as an alchemist, I do also pull out the healing potion that and just put it on the table. The one without an asterisk that is a normal healing potion.
So one of the guys sitting at the table you don't recognize, he's sitting next to Broderick. He says, "Is that a healing potion then?"
Yeah, it is.
And nobody else kind of really reacts to it. His eyes kind of, like, he takes in that information. He says, "Broderick, we should, if he turns out quite a lot of inventory, we should maybe consider employing him."
Yeah, as I say, I've got a couple of projects I'm working on.
He basically explains what those do. Seems like this guy knows. They call him Godfrey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
sorry,
they just kind
Godfrey to the.
It's a man. It's a human man that Tove doesn't recognize. That's sitting with the others.
Yeah, I've got a couple ideas of things that could possibly be made down the line. I know I'm working on a custom weapon for Beck just in my off time, but
Godfrey says,
that'll take a while.
Are you in the city then?
Yeah.
Do you work for the guild or?
I'm part of the guild. However, I've mainly just been freelancing for myself.
So he kind of looks at everybody. When you say that, most of the people kind of stop paying attention. And Godfried says, "Well, if you ever move south, let's say, we'd be interested."
Well, if there's properties that I might be able to look into down there, that could be a possibility. Like I was saying, at least my membership of the guild is mainly just for the bureaucratical side of making sure I can gain access
just
to
for the beer,
the excess resources.
He just kind of nods.
Yeah, but like I said, most of what I do is freelance. I've got a few ideas for custom potions that at the moment are just theoretical because I'm just missing pieces, but at least one that I'm thinking about is if I could get some components from possibly like maybe giant folk. I'm not exactly sure, but I may be able to. I'm not sure if it'll even work, but
At that point, they kind of their eyes all kind of glaze over because they're not like technically inclined.
Yeah,
they don't know what you mean because they're not good on picking up what that would even mean. Like what would a potion made of giant guts be?
Possibly to almost attune a person for a short time with the strength of 10, 20 men.
That kind of makes better sense to them, and they kind of all nod and agree that would be a good thing.
Yeah, it just comes down to that's where the lack of resources comes in.
And Godfrey says, where do you base this operation out of?
Currently, I'm basing it out of it's a bar here in town that I'm a partial owner of. It's called the Westwood. Y'all are free to come in and eat,
have rooms,
drink at any time. It doesn't have rooms at the moment, but we might be able to find a place for you to stay.
He kind of laughs.
If anything, it does have a gambling hall above if you need be, and we do have...
So it's a rather large place then, yeah?
It's a couple of stories, yes.
He just kind of nods and goes about whatever they've been talking about.
We also have some custom drinks as well that that definitely helps with sore muscles at the end of a fight.
They'll kind of agree.
Alluding to the weed tea.
True. They all cheers. While this is happening, Reb and Elise, what are you guys doing? Just hanging out with Dagon and his crew?
Yeah, that's sort of what I was feeling might be doing. Just trying to pick up anything that happens there.
Okay, let me take a peek. So yeah, Alan and Dagon did quite well in the archery. Victorica is still is going to be competing in the next round. She did well enough to get into the next round. Galen and I'm missing a name actually. Galen and what the fuck is his name? Boris. They're in the duel, so they competed as well and won their bouts. But so they're tearing down armor-wise and stuff, but they didn't take any heavy blows of any kind. One thing to note, Remy, during this time, an option during religious service is the medics are, they have a tent out here, so while they're not attending, there are medics here to basically take care of anybody that's injured. So that's an option for religious service if you like.
Yeah, Remy will help with that.
In the meantime, is there anything you guys specifically want to talk to them about?
I'm not supposing there's too much that we can get that we haven't already. Where are they going after this? You've mentioned, but James forgets.
Roll a persuasion check.
9.
So they all kind of look at Dagon, and he mostly doesn't engage in a lot of the conversation, though he's present, kind of sitting there. He says, well, we have orders to return to the city, and then we have a small caravan we're supposed to be seeing into the city through the mountains. I'm supposed to make sure. After that, other orders. And as he's saying that, the others kind of seem like they don't really believe him or something. Like they just they're ignoring it as if he's just kind of blathering on. Mm-hmm. And then Dagon kind of says, at the same time, and he kind of looks around, because again, this tournament happening kind of means that things are ramping up, usually. Either these things are held to kind of assuage the public with a little bit of blood sport, or their goal is to redistribute wealth and equipment for wartime, basically. And so he kind of looks at all of the hubbub and says, I sense things are changing, and though our nation is taking a neutral stance, I don't particularly feel like much of a neutral person. So, though I don't have a side yet, I can imagine that eventually there will be a side that I have to choose.
Kind of nod at that. And kind of just that this will be, you know, on your own or as part of the group, of course. Nothing affiliated.
Boris says, "Fuck that, we'll follow him anywhere," and kind of like sloshes beer all over the table. They all kind of agree in their own way. Victorica is kind of reserved. The others all kind of stand up and cheers him. But they all do raise a glass and drink, so it seems that they are all kind of just following Dagon wherever he goes.
Sorry, what I meant by affiliated as in, like, not hired, per se, I guess. It would be of you guys' choice.
Dagon kind of nods and says, "Yes, we've been, there have been offers floated. We've been noticed for what's that's worth." He says, I don't particularly...
Obviously.
I don't particularly enjoy the idea of fighting for gold.
A noble, but very different, ideal. Very
He
nice.
kind of nods. At that, Boris says, "But we don't mind it," and you see him shake a purse that he won from winning his fight today. And it's, you know, about the size that yours was. About that.
Oh, just dying.
I plead the fifth.
I heard Odds do the thing.
Cheers to that, buddy.
Oh, Jesus.
If it makes you feel any better, it's 2 shots to a full can of Coke. And I'm trying to go relatively slow on it.
My dad's 2-puck. So,
Yeah, but Odds is 2-shot.
Anything else?
Well, our bar has 4 pucks, so...
Oh, I guess I'll try and, I know they've referenced, Angstag and those places, and I think, Alnar's being, like, the east, but ask again about, like, the far, far east, Vega and all that, if they've gone, or what they can tell us, or tell me more about.
Alan Daylock, he says, I've been once. Very humid. The elves there, they say too little, and the dwarves there say too much. Though you can kind of afford that some of the time.
Was Reb told about what Remy was finding with the whole prophecy thing, or has that not happened yet?
Yeah,
Or is
that's
this happening in tandem?
that's happened, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'll kind of.
I don't remember if Morgan expressly wanted to tell everybody, but
Okay. I just don't know how the timelines work out here.
that's kind of
I
Morgan.
don't remember what
Damn it, Barry.
You don't remember what they're talking about.
I don't remember what the prophecy was.
Yeah,
we weren't
you didn't.
told
you
what
didn't-
the
you weren't
prophecy
given-
was.
It was. Aren't you glad I didn't say banana?
That's true.
Morgan.
You're supposed to be meeting with the Dragonborn eventually.
I'll just
And I
tell
was
you
gonna bring that up.
the,
Go on, Edge.
Hasn't
I was
happened
just
yet.
gonna say the details I remember from watching it was along the lines of, the elves found a prophecy written on the bones of an ancient dragon the size of a mountain back in the far east. The Dragonborn found it, confirmed, yeah, that's a motherfucking prophecy. And the elves are like, okay, well, we're not gonna tell anyone what it is, but fuck you, it's a prophecy. And everyone's freaking the fuck out.
I remember talking to Mary and like she gave me the gist of what we thought it was.
Yeah.
But I don't
Like
remember
Mary kind of is just like getting the sensation that like war is going to happen, a crusade is going to be launched as a result of this thing being found. They don't even know what it says yet, and they're already like kind of taking it on as their own thing. They're assuming that like this means they have to go on a crusade as a result of whatever this prophecy says, but they haven't actually even read what it says yet. Like the Grand Bishop doesn't know what it says, but he's just kind of religiously, he has like religious zeal, like he's just kind of going off.
I'll kind of prod around about, how about Drakkar? What about the Dragonborns?
Yeah, they all kind of shake their heads. We've met a few. They travel through the city every once in a while. They're kind of reclusive, honestly. They stick to themselves.
I'm hearing they've got some coming out of, the land, soon.
Alan
What do you think
says,
that's about?
Somebody mentioned that there were ambassadors in town. He kind of shrugs. I don't know. He says, often I find in times of war like this, holy men like to preach louder, he says. For an obvious reason, and it's all about comfort.
Work it hard to do it better, preach it.
And I've found more insidious reasons.
He kind of shrugs and says, as an ordained priest, he kind of says it sarcastically. He says, I find it's better not to treat it as a special occasion.
Kind of nod to that, yeah.
If you're a good man all the time, you don't have to worry about being a good man during war.
Words to live by.
So, you guys party the rest of the night. Head back to the Westwood eventually.
No partying for me. Just food, regular drink. Not so much.
And Odge, they don't necessarily take the healing potion. They don't seem to have any court mages on, in the area that can authenticate this thing and make sure it's not poison. But basically, they said if you find yourself not in this city and looking for a job, we can maybe work something up.
Okay, and if possible, throughout a good chunk of the rest of the afternoon, getting that word also disseminated to the nobles that are here as well, other than just the knights at the table.
Yeah.
But mainly that conversation of, hey, I might be a possibility to help you guys if y'all need it.
So the day comes to an end. The next day pops up. You are not competing today, Reb. But the events that are happening today are the free-for-all melee. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's wrong. It's the joust and then the fencing. Would you like to attend those at all?
Oh, I'd also like, I guess, in one of the overnights or in a spare moment, speak to both Tomve and Clint, and I'm guessing, those are our two builders there, about that kind of shield that we saw used, where the guy could use a two-handed weapon with the shield strapped on.
When?
It was a session or two ago. I forget who it was. I think they had a lance, but also had a shield strapped on.
So that can be done on horseback.
Yeah, that's just a horse. I'm on a horse.
I believe the lance has a special condition that it's a one-handed weapon while you're on horseback.
Okay. Well, maybe ask if there's anything can modify from that, or just see what can be done. Even if it's a smaller protection, just something to help.
Clint is thinking really hard. Well, if we take off that gauntlet and hollow out your forearm, I could put a in there. This he kind of
forearm or hollow out hers.
He grabs the metal around your forearm. Yeah, it's I mean roughly it's not a perfect circle, but we just scoop out your arm, at the elbow, and
I grabbed the mechanical clockwork arm of Tome or of Veril that doesn't have a soul yet, and be like, kind of like what we could do with this is we could make one of his boomsticks and make it into your arm. That could work.
What
It
does
would
this
hurt.
remind me of? What is it? Kami ga Kill?
Berserk has like a arm king. Though I guess
Like, she
isn't
has
it
like
at the elbow?
4 of them.
Isn't the cannon? Is the cannon in his?
There's at least one person in Full Metal Alchemist who has a
Remember the
fucking
cannon
cannon
his
in their
forearm,
knee
what's in there?
because automail. Also,
I was thinking
just
like this chick had like a gun, her legs were guns, and she had one like in her throat as like her like final like, fuck you.
that's fucking anime. God damn it,
Dude, that was some
Clint-
extreme shit. I was just like, damn.
Justin. I would like to put down some bets for the next day of the tournaments, though.
That'll be gambling downtime if you want to do that.
Sure, but could I put down bets on specific people
Yeah, we could do
for
that.
that
as
gambling
well.
downtime?
Like
yeah,
if you,
I don't know
if
how
you,
you would like to.
Yeah. So are you betting like who
I'd
would
like
you be
to
betting
bet-
on?
I would like to bet on specifically Rebecca for some of the duels, Beck, Rebecca for the archery, Beck for some of the duels, and I believe it was Sebastian for one of the duels as well.
I don't believe Sebastian is competing. Yes, I don't have Sebastian on my roster anywhere.
Okay.
Is that who describe the
Oh.
person you're thinking, and I might be able to correct you and who that actually is.
No, I was meaning Sebastian, one of the dudes from Gate.
Yeah, he's not competing.
Okay, I thought he was.
No.
But if anything, is Broderick competing?
I don't believe so. He has he's competing in the formation melee with some other heavy infantry.
Okay. I'd like to put down a little bit on him, put down some on Rebecca, and put down some on Beck. As in our good old
Right,
friend here.
Rebecca the archer, Beck the Reb,
Rebecca the archer,
and
Beck the Reb.
Broderick.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you want specific.
I'll get to that. I wrote it
That's the
down.
word.
I'll get to when they actually compete.
Okay, wasn't sure.
Uh,
Wanted that note down.
what was
Thank
I-
you.
What was I saying? Oh, Clint. James, are you here? James? James, you left.
Sorry, give me a sec.
Okay.
One. This is going well so far.
Nobody's died.
Like I said, it's gone well so far. No one's been outright murdered. Does Aoba have any thoughts on Arya's ideas while James
she
is
does,
back here?
Yeah, she does.
Sorry, back. Clint, what?
Never
So
mind.
Clint
Badge
says,
back.
Clint rolled an intelligence check, and he says, well, you know, the reason that it works that way is they have a lance rest. They have like a little, and he's just like pointing at his nipple. He's like a little. You didn't see the little, like a little, and he takes like a broom and he puts it under his arm and he says like this. It's like a little hook, and they put it on their armor, and they rest the lance in it. So I could just make one of those. That'd be easy. So you could like use your scythe on horseback.
Wasn't exactly what I was thinking, but thanks
Well, what
for
were you thinking?
the idea.
I don't understand.
Just added protection while I use my scythe.
Would they consider a warg a horse?
Probably.
Or I guess
no.
They use lances.
I think both
all right.
mechanically and just
Well, I
as
guess-
the characters at the tournament. No is the answer. If you
they
rode
wouldn't.
a wolf with a furless face that can speak Goblin, I think that does it speak Goblin? Is that or does it speak Ward?
I
they
ride up with
wouldn't-
that motherfucker.
so they wouldn't allow that for the cavalry
No,
fight.
I think like a wolf with
Or
is it,
jousting.
doesn't have demon blood in it. A wolf that is quite obviously.
Oh no, man! You just get
Maniacal.
right up on one of those. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, that shouldn't be so funny to me, but that's just the funniest shit. You show up to the joust, I'm on a warg, bitch. My horse can eat your horse.
Like the horse would probably like have to roll saves like for fear every round.
So what you guys do find over this first day, and this continues for the entire time, the gambling hall and the tavern have an increase in customers, and specifically a lot of the VIP rooms are booked up upstairs. There's 2 of
Hell
them.
yeah, boy.
They're booked up, it seems. So the next day happens. Again, it's fencing and jousting, if any of you would like to attend.
If it's fencing and jousting, I'd like to spend this day also making potions.
Okay. So complication roll. I don't know how I want to do it. Let me read the thing again, because it seems weird that you're doing like a complication roll every day.
Because I had one for the week, technically, that I already rolled and we dealt with and
That's
resolved.
why I'm wondering if it like if it's specific, like, because the crafting potions is treated as a separate table, because like it has different timing versus like the other things, because they're faster to make. But I'm just wondering if it says how you're supposed to do complications for it.
So you're saying we shouldn't do complications for it?
I'm wondering, and I'm gonna read and find out.
I'm okay with that.
A different complication for each task.
Bruh.
Okay, so that says
So if you do all potions, you know.
that says every 5 work weeks, but none of them take 5 work weeks. So I'm wondering if you just don't roll complications for it. Then why do you have a potion mishap table? That doesn't make sense. So crafting items is a 10% chance every 5 work weeks, but healing potions. I guess it doesn't say that you should roll complications, so I guess there aren't any complications for.
So we've just got one fucked up potion because we done fucked up.
Well, because Remy,
Yeah,
obviously,
because Remy obviously
she wanted to
add in
help.
some extra ingredients.
She wanted to help.
I don't know if this will hurt, if this will help or hinder, but yeah, help is a word that you could try and use to describe it.
It doesn't say to use complications for the healing potions, so I'm just gonna say, unless I want a complication, no complications.
Justin, I do have one question, because you can make me roll for it or just tell me. Would I get the feeling that it would be ill-advised to attempt to sell arcane, because it's like alchemist made healing potions to some of the nobles and knights and things?
Not necessarily. Like, again,
it's
Knick-Knack shut down just because the order was very kind of up on the witchcraft stuff.
Okay.
So if you can fence them to love. You can fence them to love. That's always an option. As far as like opening a proper shop, your only trouble would be if for some reason the order heard about it and decided that you were a witch, which is not a impossibility.
Yeah. No, it's more the thought.
If you spread it by word of mouth, you can get customers, but there's always the trouble that some of them are religious and rumors get out. So it's up to you. It's a danger. I'll just say that.
Justin, it was more the thought of just during this tournament, if I was to make some and then sell it to those who are competing to help mend their wounds after they're finished. Okay.
Same problem.
Okay.
Regardless of like whether it's a business you intend to upkeep, like it's kind of the same thing.
Okay.
So that's kind of up to you whether you want to try or not.
For now, I think I'll just stockpile.
Okay.
So, 16 hours worth.
Is 2 potions.
Yep.
50 gold for 2.
Yep.
And I don't believe there's a roll for it even.
Oh, damn it. I just erased through the paper under where I had GP.
Yeah, there's not a roll for it. It just happens.
Okay.
So the next day is the fencing and the joust. Does anybody want to attend those?
I'll go hang out again. Is anybody of theirs competing? I don't think you said.
So the fencing, you see Akahige. He competes.
Oh, okay.
Domino's probably kicking around somewhere. Alan Daylock competes. Dagon competes. They both win. Akahige wins. That woman named Artemis seems to be competing in this as well. She fights with a short sword, I want to say.
Justin, just a quick clarification. You said Akka is also fighting?
Yeah.
Didn't you say that fencing was an unarmored, but with a melee weapon?
Yes, with a sword.
Okay, I thought
he fights with a long sword.
Yeah, okay. Just thought that Akka was in like heavy armor or some shit.
I think he had maybe splint on, but or scale mail, but he fights fine without it. It seems. If anything, his AC actually might go up if he takes armor off.
I was just curious. Got it.
You see roll a perception check, Reb.
6.
Okay. Quite a few people go by. So there's quite a few rounds here, but you do see Elijah of Gate competes, and he wins his bout as well. And then there is any
nice moves I can pick up.
Yeah, he's pretty graceful. I mean, he kind of dances around like it's a dance almost. Like he's like a younger guy, kind of on the thin side. He's not very muscular, but he's very quick. So he's very like kind of a lot of spins, a lot of kind of footwork.
I meant more like, is there like, when you watch somebody fight and then they're like, they do a move and you want to learn it yourself, try to add it to your repertoire or anything like that. I feel like I could do.
I mean, not really. I mean, like, he's fighting with a rapier, so it's a little different than what you normally do. And again, he's more about accuracy and not so much about the power. So there's not even like, he doesn't even block most blows. It's more of like dodge and strike for him.
Not even watching like Akka or any of them.
Akka is a little more powerful. I mean, Akahige is very very structured, I guess I'd say. And like there's times where you would have like taken a counter strike or attempted a strike, and Akahige doesn't. Like he blocks the blow and there's like a little bit of an opening, but he doesn't like it. And he takes a step back and he retreats or stands his ground, but still defending. But like there's times where, you could have got a blow in there, maybe, but he doesn't even try it. He's like the blows that he lands are clean and like clearly planned, and there's no flailing involved when Akahige is fighting. Alan, Daylock, and Dagon, very quick, very strong. They're just very skilled swordsmen. Dagon, you notice when he fights, he never advances, but he never retreats. So basically, they end up kind of pivoting around him. Basically, he advances at the start of the bout, but basically he refuses to engage in footwork. Like he stands in front of them, doesn't retreat, doesn't move forward. He takes a few blows, maybe here. Well, actually, this early in the tournament, he probably doesn't take any blows, but he just basically stands right in front of them and fights. He doesn't retreat or advance. Alan is much more performative. He's also like, again, the people are picking various places to fight to basically get an upper hand in their heads. Alan fights right in front of the tents and makes a big show of it, claps for himself at times, wins, and without bowing, and without helping the guy up, walks to the tent, sits down, and starts drinking and playing the lute again. So he's very kind of performative about it and takes a lot of pride in himself, it seems. The formation melee goes again for a few rounds. You're seeing a lot of Vestran Knights competing, a lot of Vestran Army. You see Dagon and his crew compete as well. And again, there's only, 5 of them? 6 of them? So they're heavily understaffed. it seems. But they take some hits here and there. It seems Boris takes most of them. Yeah, how many do they have? 1, 2,
6,
3, 4. So there's 5 fighters, and Ludger is their squire, technically. He goes out with them, but doesn't fight. He doesn't have any weapons on him either. But there's only 5 of them, and they do quite well against squads of up to 16. There's definitely some running and gunning at that point because they're outnumbered. So they definitely like use their mobility to their advantage. You find that Dagon, Boris, and Galen are actually outfitted as medium cavalry, so they are used to fighting on foot more than on horseback. So although they're cavalry, they actually dismount when it comes time to actually fight a lot of the times. So they're quite agile as a group. They're well commanded. Dagon is yelling commands to them. Words in Elvish that don't mean anything. As far as they don't mean anything as pertaining to the battle. They're clearly like code words. And they mean different things, and you see them reacting quite quickly to those commands. Again, Broderick and some gate infantry fight. They win their bouts. And a group of the captain's Dwarvish mercenaries fight, but again, he doesn't come with them. And then there's the joust. Alan is competing in that. A thing that you notice that's different about him, and Victorica as well competes, they have functional armor on, and they do fight with old spears, but they're not blunted. They're just old. What you notice about their armor is functional, in that you would wear that on a battlefield. The other people's armor is functional, but there are specific attachments that are put on for jousting. The one shoulder that's kind of the leading shoulder is built up higher. The shields are of a kind of concave nature, and everything that's attached, and to the extent the helmets as well, it's to encourage glancing blows. And so there's not, it actually does restrict movement a little bit, but the advantage of wearing that specific jousting armor is it encourages lances to glance rather than, a regular shield is often just flat and it's functional. It will block that lance and it won't stab you in the gut, but it's not so much designed for glancing. These have very kind of sharp angles on them a lot of times to kind of encourage a glancing blow. And they seem to be kind of attached on top of very well-polished armor for most of the lords here. So yeah, that's just kind of the difference you notice about the stag guys. So Alan, he competes. Gendry competes, again, loses quite quickly. Kenneth of Brom, but he's from Gate. He competes. The king actually competes as well, and again, Victorica competes. They all win their bouts as well. So that is that, and that day concludes. Various prizes being doled out. You guys get back to the Westwood that night, and you hear, kind of late in the night, some of you might even be asleep, you hear a hubbub downstairs as if there's people fighting in the gambling hall.
Lovely. Let's go find out.
So, Morgan, do you want to attend to that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Remy will go for that one.
So Remy and Reb kind of rush up either upstairs or downstairs, wherever you guys are. Let me see here. So roll a perception check as you kind of rush up or down, depending.
You said we should pretty much asleep, so 16.
So the 18 plus.
So if you scroll down to the gambling hall, I'll show you what you find. So you kind of rush into the middle of the room. The remainder of the gambling is continuing as if nothing's happened. But you do notice 2 guards have stepped over and are trying to break up a fight at the moment in front of this VIP room. Let me get some minis out here. So you see Boris is struggling with a wealthier looking human. And what was the rolls you just rolled?
16 and 18, I believe.
So you both notice that the guy he's fighting with is kind of well off. He's well dressed, it seems. And they're kind of struggling with each other, like wrestling around.
Am either of I here for this?
If you want it to be. Again,
Have either of I here for...
It was kind of late in the night, so people might be asleep, but if you want a character here, you can.
Yeah.
Which would you prefer?
Maria might still be up.
I'll grab her in a second. Or you, I guess you can move her up here if you want.
Hey, Remy, do you have anything that can, like, make people act like they're high with that tea? Maybe, like, calm them down? I don't know how magic works. It's really kind of, like, gimmicky, but do you have any...
point, I can handle it.
Okay, so you have some way that you think you could possibly, like, calm their emotions?
Potentially.
So you do see that these gentlemen do have weapons on their belts, but none have been drawn yet. They're just wrestling with each other. You see Alan is kind of like at the edge of the door, just kind of like Boris, what are you doing? And he's just wrestling with this guy up against the wall. What do you guys want to do?
Approach what's going on over here.
The guards are kind of trying to break it up as well, if you want to push past them.
Come on,
break it. The guards say, miss, they're fighting over a debt, I believe, or I can't tell, and they're still trying to break them up.
Break it up. Let's talk about this. Come on.
Yeah, go in. All right,
Is Boris my friend, the big ugly guy?
Yeah, to an extent. He's friendly.
We met him.
Rab, just roll an athletics or an intimidation check.
I don't think it matters which one, because that's a terrible roll.
I know the feeling.
Let's go with a 10 for intimidation.
Oof.
So you're trying to break them up, and they're still kind of like fighting with each other. And Alan's like, "Don't kill the man. We just got in this city." And you see another veteran man, also well dressed, kind of walks out from behind Alan, and is like looking. He says, "Give him one!" And like starts throwing punches in the air. And they start like full on fighting now. Like there's punches about to be thrown.
I'm gonna try and get in between them and turn like with my hand up, like pushing at him a little bit, be like, "Boris, what the hell are you doing?"
Okay, roll an athletics check, and then basically you're shoving one of them. Who would you like to be shoving?
I guess I'd be shoving the other guy more kind of back away while holding Boris like at bay.
Rolled a 2.
Or would you consider that? Or would you be?
Basically, you're shoving one of them out of their square, and then you're filling their square. So it's whether you want to move Boris or move the noble.
Let's do Boris then.
Okay, well, I rolled a 2. So it can't be good.
I rolled a 6 plus some shit.
3 total. No, that's not right. 10. No, 9. 2 plus
11.
7. So, you kind of shove him back, and he kind of slides across the ground. And he's like, "Why are you shoving me? Shove him!" And they do kind of separate now, and you have them that kind of arm's length, so they're stopped for all intents and purposes.
I'm kind of like look at Boris, but then also back at Alan, kind of like, "What the hell are you guys doing here? What's going on?"
Alan says, "It's actually my fault. The man thinks I owe him, and I don't, I guess." And he kind of smiles. And Boris says, "Yeah, that's bullshit. We all saw it. You lost the gold. Just get the fuck out of here." And kind of shoves your arm. Yeah, sure.
I would like to do the same if possible.
Sure.
All I heard was him say, "I'd like to do the spanking." And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing considering us. I rolled 2 separate... I mean, it could be great either way.
I rolled 2 separate dice, and I rolled an 18 on both of them.
Jesus.
I rolled a 25.
I rolled a 9.
So Alan is telling the truth. It seems that this man probably lost his money. What'd you roll?
24.
Okay.
Oh yeah, shit.
Alan is telling the truth, you think. It seems like this man lost his money and is upset about it, and kind of insinuating that maybe Alan was trying to leave the game before the guy could win back his money. You're not sure whether any property changed hands, but it's in a VIP room especially. It's probably likely this guy lost his ass and then tried to bet something like a watch or something that was important, a ring, a necklace, something. You don't see anything in Alan's hand to suggest that, but that's reasonable. Boris is also telling the truth. He does think it's bullshit that this guy's mad and wants to wring his throat as a result. So that's what you gain from that, Remy.
I'll call out to the dealer and say, this is why we have, our independent parties. What's going on?
The dealer is like, he just gives you a look as he's dealing cards to Galian, who he's still playing against. So there's still like a game happening. Galian just kind of he like peeks around and like just keeps playing cards.
Can I make a perception check to see who has a heftier coin pouch between Boris and the fancy looking dude that
sure. Yeah.
Arguing with?
Yeah,
because I completely failed that insight check. And that's a horrible roll. So 9.
Okay, so Boris and this man don't have belt pouches on. You're judging that they're probably on the table, and there's just too much chaos at the moment. There's too many people between you and the table to really see. There's also swinging doors involved, but they're both dressed up to like go out for the night, so they're not like wearing their everyday garb, and they're also again not wearing any belt pouches. Maybe you think because they've lost their ass at the table and all their money's on the table, but yeah, they don't have anything.
Wait, so Alan beat Boris, and Boris is pissed at Alan, right?
No, Alan beat this.
My lord!
Alan beat this noble guy. And the noble guy is pissed at Alan, basically like, hey, you can't leave until I get my money back from you. And not like he's gonna take it from him, but like, give me a chance to win my money back. You're pissing me off.
Is it just some random noble?
Yeah, you don't recognize him. He's just a well-dressed human man.
So where does Boris come into this then?
Boris is pissed that the guy is pissed and is gonna kick his ass as a result.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
The noble kind of points at you, Remy, seemingly recognizing you as the owner, and Reb as well, and says, do you let pig like this frequent your establishment? And points at Boris.
I prefer to didn't speak about them that way. They are, in fact, close friends of ours. They've helped us.
He kind of gives you a look and like points at him, like, look at the guy. Boris just stands there.
Bite your tongue, noble.
Boris is a gentleman and a fantastic person to be around.
Alan chimes in, a night of the swine, maybe, and smiles. Boris flips him off.
I let out a
stifle a giggle.
I let out a hearty chuckle. I don't stifle it at all.
Boris flips him off, but you think that this is a common thing that happens. It's almost like Alan has
fuck you.
Has rehearsed that before. Like he's had to say that to people before about him.
I'll look at the nobleman and I'll say, I mean, this is, for gambling, fair is fair. You gotta take your losses where they go. Perhaps we can
roll a persuasion check.
Drink on the house.
Did you say friends? So you said you cut off. Yeah, you can use friends.
Oh, thank God.
I don't know. You don't consider him hostile?
Not to Remy.
17.
He kind of seems still angry, and his fists are definitely clenched. But when you say free drinks, he does kind of look at you and says, I believe that's amenable. And he kind of glares at Boris, but then he kind of walks off with kind of his nose up in the air. He kind of pushes past everybody. His friend goes with him.
I'll do a thing where I kind of like...
There's bartenders up here, right?
Yeah, there's a bar over in the corner.
I'll wave at one of them for a glass of hot tea and a shot of something.
Okay. So they are taken care of at the bar. The guards kind of calm everything down and head back to their posts.
I'll do the thing where it's like I kind of let go of Boris, like dust the shirt off, like.
He kind of screws
what
it
is it?
back up.
No murder really.
Like you fix his shirt, and then as he's walking past you, he kind of refixes it, and it's now like untucked in the back and kind of like fucked up. But he doesn't seem to notice.
As we're,
he just kind of pats you on the arm like he doesn't mind. He doesn't seem to mind that you shoved him. But he kind of walks over to Alan and kind of gives him a little shove in the chest. And kind of laughs and says, I was really hoping to fight tonight. He kind of just laughs. We
really try not to do that in our establishment, even if we're involved in it.
Boris just walks back in and gets dealt another hand, and Alan kind of gives you guys a nod and, like, kind of quietly just gives you a, I'm sorry, but, like, doesn't say the words.
I'll kind of, like, lean down into him and be like, so what did he lose?
He kind of sees the guy isn't paying attention, and he does slip a little pocket watch out of his coat, and says, I don't know why he would care about something like this, but seems like he does. And he kind of pockets it again.
I'll respond, the way he was acting, you'd think, you wanted a deed to his property or something.
He just kind of shrugs and says, must be sentimental.
If not, at least expensive.
Is anybody close enough to get a magical detection thing off of that?
Yeah, Remy,
I do not have that
if
ability.
you have detect magic prepared, you could do that.
Yeah,
I think I usually have it prepared.
Well, why don't you go look?
So I think Remy's the only one that's up here at the moment.
Otherwise, somebody can roll an Arcana check if you really want, but it depends on whoever has the best. Roll it.
In that case, that'd be me, -1.
If Tony was here.
I do have detect magic up.
Okay.
Or prepared.
So you want to cast? Yeah, but that'd take like 10 minutes. So you cast that then?
Yeah, I'll cast it.
It is not magical by any of your magical vision.
Do I see anything magical in the area within
probably not. I can check. I don't think that they have anything magical on them.
Not just
the only people that might.
Like general in range.
Yeah. I mean, nobody else around here probably would. If they did, it'd be something really minor, like a common magic item.
And
that'd be very rare.
Does she mention any common magic items that people have on them?
No, because I rolled a 00. That's very far away from a 99.
A 00 is a 100, right?
No, that's a 0. 00 is 0, and then, like, for instance, if I rolled a 00 and a 1, it'd be 1. Like Gendry did.
Yeah, but like a 00 and a 0 is 100, though.
So I rolled an 8.
Okay.
So no magic items in the room at the moment, but I do have to check. Alan is the only one that might, and I don't think he does.
Well, I'm not gonna take from Alan.
He actually is wearing a ring that is magical, and it is
conjuration.
It is, I guess, technically enchantment.
Or that.
Maybe a hint of divination.
Well, if anything, as we're walking away, Aria would just like to make a side comment to Remy. You know, if you guys kind of like customized how this was made, probably would have been a little bit better if you guys put a couple like in rooms here in case you had guests coming to stay. So that way they didn't have to go up to the extra space.
We would make more money that way.
We did used to have in rooms here.
It's a little bit late. It's probably a little bit too late now, but I mean, even just the third floor right off to the side here above where the entrance to the bar is could have been a space for a couple
I'd have to
rooms.
remake my whole fucking map, wouldn't I?
I guess not. You would only have to remake the third floor.
For some reason, I thought it was like north-south, not west-east. Like, I thought you were saying, like, put more stuff out here. I don't know.
No, I was saying, like, you could add in 4 to 6 rooms right in here above.
What is here?
Nothing
above the roof.
That's the roof.
The roof of like the front end
of the original.
Yeah.
Because basically there's just if you look at the top right, the profile view, there's like the warehouse section has a higher roof than the front end
What did
section.
What did we do
There
with
we
the
are.
original rooms from the bar?
They became like lounges, smoking lounges.
Yeah,
They
we
became-
like gutted them out.
People can
They be-
pay a little bit and they can sit up there and have like a little curtained room to sit in.
It's the hookah lounge.
It's a hooker lounge, Echo.
Okay. Well,
Mostly like older gentlemen will go there to bullshit with their friends.
gentlemen.
Do we
You
actually?
know, that could be our
gain
next
anything from the
project.
hookah lounge?
Say that again, Morgan.
Do we actually gain anything from the hookah lounge?
It's a business. I mean, it doesn't actually like get you more money, but to that end, like adding an inn wouldn't get you more money because the role wouldn't change because you're still just running a business. And even if you have like multiple businesses happening, I just have you roll one business check.
I would
But
think
you would just have
something
the
that are more profitable.
amenity of having some rooms there.
Yeah, I would just think that certain businesses are more profitable, like having rooms for people to stay in.
So
might be
I
more
mean, like I
profitable.
guess if you really wanted to break it down that way, I do have it broken down that way in my notes, like as each business is kind of detailed out, so I know what they're doing. But like when it comes time to roll to see profits, I do only have you roll a single roll, even though you have the gambling hall functioning, you have the tavern functioning, you have the speakeasy functioning, you have the smoking lounge functioning. Like I just kind of wrap it all into one business.
Yeah, honestly, it was mainly just a thought of like some of the earlier comments of, "Hey, do you guys have an inn at the Westwood where you guys are staying?" It's like, oh shit, we forgot about that, and we
So,
have space
yeah.
for it theoretically.
You do, yeah, if you built on. But Alan, again,
There,
has a
got
magic ring. But he just walks back in to the VIP room, sits down. He actually has his lute with him, so he's just playing some lute music and playing cards. And he actually plays a couple more hands now that this guy's gone.
Just gonna roll my eyes, go back to bed.
So yeah, you guys can head back to whatever you were doing before.
Yep.
Crisis averted. Nobody was murdered.
Like I
The
said,
old bean.
no murder is allowed in our tavern without our help.
At this point, on the third day, Remy, let's figure out what you're doing for the week. So you have 2 downtimes. Again, if you'd like to perform some religious service, one of the options is working in the medic tent at the tournament, if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that for one of them.
Okay. So that'll just be a medicine check. Do you want to... No, you can't spend gold on this one. I like. Never mind. And then roll a complication D100 and roll 30 to 40.
23.
What was it?
23.
Okay, so no complication. But you did earn a single favor if you can have one more. Again,
I don't think I can. I think I'm actually maxed out.
the total is 1 plus charisma. But we did decide that you can spend them like that
Wow.
day if you want to. So like that week, you have another set of downtime, another 8 hours. So you could spend that favor, like we talked about before.
Oh, did I ever...
You spent
You-
one favor
yeah,
to
you-
get information about the prophecy from what's her name at the church, Mary.
I think I spent 1 or 2 to go do something in the Noble District or
Yeah,
something.
you raised your
favorability.
I don't know what I should call that. Affinity? I don't know. You raised them to 1 level higher for you. But you also, again, wanted to maybe work on some of the other factions. Do you want me to go down that list again?
Yeah, which one did I do last time?
You did the nobility. I'll write it in chat. All of the factions in chat.
There's
Okay,
like
now the
guild.
question is... Okay. is that?
There's the anvil, there's the configuration, there's the nobles, there's the royalty where you need an inn for it.
Badger, is there a cat behind you?
There's the slums. That is a cat.
Yes.
Meow.
Which cat? Is that fat cat?
Fat
or-
cat.
Bring me fat cat.
Fat cat, fat cat, fat cat.
Bring me the fat cat.
Oh, he's sleeping.
Oh, fat cat, wake up.
Move, Badger, you're on
Where's
a
that cat?
laptop. Just move the laptop.
No, it's attached to the cord.
Does your laptop not have a battery?
It's attached to the cord.
But cat. Okay, well, be that way then. Do you guys have? Actually, I guess Justin. Do you have any idea where the whole
Fat cat.
cat? Do you have any
Hello,
idea
big
where
cat.
the origins of serfs being, where like the peasants being called serfs comes from?
No, but I would assume the word servant, but I'm actually not sure.
Okay, I don't know why, but that's just something that I just was curious about.
Comes
wonder why.
from the Latin phrase servus, which is the word for slave.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay.
It comes
yeah.
for the English
I don't know
for
if
waves and catching them.
But I guess,
What?
like, functionally, serfs don't function like we think of slavery. Not quite, at least. Like, I mean, I guess some of them probably did because they kind of lived autonomously, like, on homesteads. So I don't know. I guess
Interesting.
I wouldn't call all serfs slaves, like in a modern vernacular, but
But not all.
but
So
but
it's
there were some. I guess.
It's a rectangle and a square.
Yeah.
Not all serfs are slaves, but all slaves are serfs.
Oh.
Yes.
How did I totally miss this?
Was there another cat?
And cake.
Oh, the worst time for the lag. I can't see anything. Oh, kitty. What
Big
cake?
dogs. They're both at the boarding place right now because they have to leave in the morning before they open.
Puppers.
It's been insane. I keep looking out the window and opening the door and expecting the dogs to be there, and they're not.
Isn't it horrible when your children are not around?
Oh
You
no,
was-
most
it
parents that
sucked
come
to
in to
hear
work
that, too.
say it isn't.
What?
I said most parents that come into my work, say it isn't horrible when the kids aren't around. Like, fuck yeah, some time with us.
That's because their kids are human.
Mila, I swear she remembered that place though. She looked at the kennel and she was like, "Wait, no, don't leave me here, no!" And I felt so bad. I was like, I don't want to leave my little baby puppy here.
Depending on the doggo, they do have good memories.
So, Remy,
So,
favors.
how many more times would I need to raise my affiliation with the nobility before I think I could start preying on the royal family?
Jesus.
Phrasing.
You don't know. That would be something that you have to feel out with insight rolls as you go.
Okay, I will spend another one on the nobility for now then, and maybe do an insight roll with it.
So again, how are you doing this?
BRB.
I'll kind of approach the same way I did last time, and maybe like kind of, as I'm getting chummier with these people, like, hey, put my name out there.
Okay.
Like, here's my card. Tell your friends. But like,
So the response you get to that at this point is they seem to be friendly. They seem to recognize you, remember your name. They remember that you've been maybe rumored to be performing miracles. You've been judged by the church to not be a witch. So some of them comment on that and say that that's good. But now you're getting into like friendship territory, and some of the responses you get are, well, what can you do for me and my house? You know, it kind of, they don't really come out and say that probably, but the more social interaction you're going with during these services that you're attending that are kind of higher class at the cathedral, a lot of those conversations break down into, well, what can you do for me?
Morgan doesn't know what she can do for them.
You could perform
have-
miracles.
Know what they...
Devise an answer based on your abilities, based on the Westwood, based on what you have at your disposal. What do you think that Remy would offer to lords if they asked?
I come back into headphone range and I hear Remy's trying to give away our shit again.
No, she's trying to give away her body again.
Because like you're asking for, you know, at the end of the day, what you're saying is, hey, do you got my back in the future if I come to you with a request? And so they're like, okay, well, if we're doing that, what are we getting out of this deal?
I can actually communicate with the light and divine.
So we're just going full Messiah, is what we're doing.
For real, I was like, oh,
I will say that going full Messiah is a step up from where you were before. Before we were performing miracles. If you're like, I speak to God, things are gonna get real serious.
God, I'm just saying that, like, I can kind of like.
You can channel God.
So you're like the.
Actually, like, give me little hints about the future.
You're like the pastor from like a small town that's just like really into Jesus after he stopped going to gay bars. Alright, roll a persuasion check.
I might even prove that with a divination here and there.
What are they called? The dudes that wrote the books, you know, Matt, John, James, what were they called?
Say,
I'll even prove it with like a divination here or there.
The Book of John.
Would that give me advantage in any way?
Yeah.
Okay, so
are
you actually like
The Apostles,
gonna give them
I think?
tips? Like, is that because like that's a useful trade-off? Like, if you're like, hey, I can guide you, and they'll be like, okay, tell me which stock to invest in. Like,
I'll do like a little bit of divination here and there. I think it's like once a day or something like that. Doesn't affect.
Well, yeah, it's yeah.
And just kind of like, hey, here's a good tip and whatever you ask me about.
Yeah, roll a persuasion check. I'll give you advantage on that. Well, I guess that doesn't really do enough because you could also just friends that. I would let you like add a d6 to it if you want.
I mean, I'm not sure if I even need to. It's a 16 plus 6. Fuck it, I'll add it. Why not? It doesn't.
2.
5.
Okay.
Damn.
So
21
what
plus
is that?
6, 27.
16 plus 6 plus 5.
16 plus 6? 22.
27.
27. So yeah, you make a couple friends. Let me get you some names.
Make a few friends.
You're making some friends, and again, there is quite a lot of nobility in town. So you meet up with a man named Baron Arik. He seems to be less on the devout side, but just attending because his wife is fairly devout. He is clearly ex-military. Probably isn't serving currently, but is a baron, which comes with probably a small retinue of knights, basically. And again, he probably has connections and that sort of thing. So although he's not like active service, he's clearly like still a warrior, kind of on his last few years of being like an active combatant.
Can you put his name in chat?
Yes. Some of the players have met this guy before, way back in Fordrum. He was a member of the House of Lords there.
Yeah, I do not remember that shit.
Was he the he wasn't the orange die, right? Was he the D4?
What?
I know what you're saying. No, he had Oh no, I guess he.
Or do you have an
I
actual
think he had
mini?
an actual mini. He had like a broad.
But that's the one, right? That's the.
Yes.
That's the correct time. And...
Yes. Yeah.
So just the one.
I'm looking through my notes. Hold on. I also opened the wrong thing, so give me. Oh, I guess I did open the right thing, but I just didn't see what I was looking for. Oh, it's just lower. That's why. You meet an Archduke, Dar, from Fordrum as well.
Damn, an Archduke.
So basically, the way the nobility works here is that there are dukes that own large swaths of territory, and this is to decentralize the government to a certain extent, so that if for some, one, travel time and communication is slow, so having local leadership that can kind of act as a king while the king isn't present is good. So basically, the Archduke is the one that oversees all of the other dukes. So he's kind of like... His responsibilities aren't much more, but if there needs to be like a tiebreaker situation, he's the one that does it. But him and all of the dukes are basically like kings underneath the king. So while the king is in Vestra and not in their territory, they're the king of their territory. For all intents and purposes, I can show you kind of a little bit of like these territories. So there's there's Vestra as a section, and sometimes it includes Brahm, at other times it doesn't. There's this as a section. There's this as a section. Looks like a penis. Looks like a penis.
So many pixels.
This is a section.
There's so few details.
Really, I've got like HD penis right
This
here.
as a section.
I
HD
have-
peen.
I have nothing but pixels plus his lines.
Well, maybe you should get your gamey thing to load better.
So sometimes Brahm is kind of connected with Konun, and other times it's with Vestra. It's not really clear. But so those are the sections.
Is there another line that's like there-ish?
No, that's kind of all of that is just like private territory, like mines. There isn't really homesteads up there.
So where does Fordrum's kind of cut off up here in the
Oh,
northern?
like technically, no, that's not the right thing. Technically here. But like all of this is kind of like a frontier. Like it's not, it's land that they claim to own, but they don't like police it.
Okay.
That's why like when you went to a mine up there, they had a mercenary company as defense that they'd employed. Because you can't really rely on the government to help you when you're in this territory. It's kind of wild, wild west out there.
Okay.
So that's what you're looking at. One of the dukes owns each chunk of land. There's weirdness where, like, some of the time the castle or keep they own isn't in the territory that they own, and that's a result of them coming up through the ranks. They were awarded land in a dukedom, and then eventually down the line they became a duke. So now they own a castle like way over here, but they actually own this dukedom. I can't remember who's like that, but I think in my notes that some of them are like that.
Where's our keep? Is it over here?
Where's your what?
Our little keep?
Our bars in Vestra.
No, the tower, the keep.
That's in Old Malrum over here. So where the Nautis thing is, they're building up the tower.
I think she means Westgate, where we technically have the to ownership.
The tower's in the eastern passage.
Because everyone died.
It's the tower is this tower that you see.
Oh, okay.
So Westgate is at the foot of the mountains on the western side. Eastgate is the tiny gate you go through that's like defended. That's on the eastern side. And then the tower there itself is actually the watchtower.
Also, one last question, because I haven't... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Archduke who? What's his name?
Archduke Dar is the one that owns Fordrum.
Oh,
D-A-R-R?
Yes.
D-A-6 R's?
If you wanted to know specifically who owns the Eastern Passage, I could tell you. If you really want to know.
Who?
And if you did have to say that one person owned the frontier, it would be that guy. It's just like, functionally, he doesn't do anything about that land.
I do have one question, because I'm looking at nothing but pixels. Is over here gate, or is it over here?
That's gate.
It's to the far. Okay. Oh my god! It's finally loaded. I've got pixels. Oh, this is beautiful.
Told you, full HD.
So did you want to know specifically who owned the Eastern Passage?
Yeah, that actually would be nice if I could gain that information.
Hold on, I'll find it. Oh, is it that guy? He's dead.
What?
Did we kill him?
No, Baron Bray. He was That
name sounds familiar.
He wasn't actually a duke, but I think it might have been him.
So what does it take?
So technically, it's unowned at the moment. The king has to like you and put you there.
So in this process,
Hey, the king likes me.
Becoming, friendly.
If you're gonna try to spend downtime to become a duke, I'm gonna say no. It takes more than that.
Maybe not me.
Also,
like,
to be fair,
enough that like we can.
I'm gonna say that there is gonna have to be a quest involved in that. That is not something you can accomplish during downtime. You can get people friendly with you, and that will definitely help your problem. But basically, you have to provide a service to the crown, and they have to be like, "Hey, you did a good job. Here's some land," and then you have to do that again, and then they're like, "Hey, here's some more land," and then you have to do that one more time, like to a big extent, and then they're like, "Hey, here's the real shit."
I want to become the Archduke of the East Gates, as well as the Grand Bishop.
So there is no, there's not an like the Archduke is just the Duke of Fordrum. Like he's just the Duke that lives here, but he's the favorite Duke. So he's probably like friends with the king. I wrote it down why he's like in that position. I think he's also maybe the oldest. But basically the Archduke is just like, hey, I like you a little bit more than the other dukes. It's not like a special.
I would like to be the Duke of Eastgate.
Good luck.
Technically, Remy would have to be a duchess, not a duke.
Nice.
Whatever.
I have to interject here, guys, because I'm looking through my notes, and I found something at the top margin. The name for a sex-addicted wizard is a jizzard.
Jeez.
God fucking damn it.
Thanks for that input. I would like to be the jizzard.
My notes are wild.
I would like to be the jizzard of the Eastern Passage.
Yes.
Badger, can
you know what? No. Hold on. Tom Bay is going to be a jizzard.
Fuck off. I need some eye bleach. Can you please put the cat back on camera?
Let's see. Hey, Jacques. Geisel's a musician friend.
Man,
Healed Nads' arm/hand. Well, look at that.
Remy,
he was there the entire time.
You also run into, with Arik, he has a man with him who he's an older man, dark skin, kind of gray hair that's kind of matted and braided and dreaded in places. And he carries kind of a walking staff with him. He generally kind of looks like an old wizard. You actually recognize him from the Eastern Passage. Not the Eastern Passage, the Eastern Continent. He was a mage at the theater where there was that big magic show. Somebody got buried alive and was like magicking off against Jim Jar.
That was Teeps.
Remember that?
Do I remember his name though?
So the person you met was Adder Vizar. And as you go to address him,
was that the guy
another man that looks identical, just dressed differently, a little less like he has better posture, but he looks just as old. Dark skin, gray hair, kind of matte. His hair is kind of more kempt and is like pulled back with a tie. But they're clearly twins. And so you're not really sure which one is which one you've met before. But you've definitely met one of them before.
Was that the guy that Clyde was trying to talk to when he got swatted as a spider?
Maybe?
Trying to get into the back room to be like, hey, can you help us?
Yeah, and then Remy kind of got back there somehow, I think.
Yeah.
Can I address them generally and get the name of the other one?
Sure, yeah. The kind of rough, unkempt one is Anner Visar, and the other is Adder Visar.
Can you put their names in chat so I spell them right?
Sure.
Anner, the ends is the unkempt one?
Yes. Both carry staffs. Like, Anner's is kind of like a simple wooden staff. Looks like it's made out of a branch. Fairly straight, but not perfectly.
I'd like to try
Adder's
to
is a simpler kind of black wood. And you'll like to what?
I just want to become better friends with them.
Okay, so you introduce yourself. They introduce them, and like they kind of get down on one knee and give you a little handshake.
Wait, so Archduke Dar was the Ginger D20.
Yes.
Duke Arcalis is the D4. Bishop
Sounds right.
Roxley was the D10.
Sounds right.
Tharkoon was the D8.
So you know that Anner gave a fake name, and it's actually a joke. They use the same fake name. If you look that name up, it's one of the alternate names of Gandalf. So it's just a fake name that Justin came up with on the spot. But yeah, so they both give the same fake name. The names they've given you now are actually their real name. Since they're there together, they can't both give the same fake name, so...
What was the fake name they gave?
Tharkoon. The last name was another name that Gandalf used in a different part of the world. Like, I think I just took two of Gandalf's, like, alternative names and said them.
Do these men look similar to Gandalf?
Yeah, they're old wizards. I mean, you know that the one is a wizard. Because he was working at that magic theater where they were doing, like, magic tricks.
And he has a mustache. Apparently.
You should also recognize this name for another reason that happened last week that nobody has brought up yet.
What was the name that we should be recognizing?
Well, both of them, really.
Oh.
Bizarre.
Shit, I watched the video. I don't remember their names being brought up. Oh, fuck.
Being...
Is that again, Mark?
Fuck.
I don't remember either of the first names being brought up.
Were they the
fairly
elves?
certain that one of the first names was
Justin, are these two guys elves?
They are human.
Oh, shit. I was thinking they may have been the elves that uncovered the prophecy.
Could be,
elves,
like Anner looks like he could be in his 90s. He's quite old and kind of old and crooked. The other one, he looks a bit younger, maybe 80, but again, they are twins, so...
Well, guess
so
who's
clearly they're probably the same age.
I got it. Adder with the D's is the guy who might procure his services to kill the phylactery.
That, yeah.
So it all kind of clicks in your mind. Hey, this is like a wizard, and Eno said that he could, but Eno also mentioned that these guys know him by a different name and a different face. So don't say his name, which is a general rule, but specifically in this context, they're not gonna know who the fuck that is.
Adder. Okay. Adder.
Yes.
Was actually informed by a friend that you are particularly well versed in destroying peculiar magic things.
He kind of makes his face. Well, no, but I could give it a shot, I guess, but more importantly, a friend of you is not necessarily a friend of mine. Who sent you my direction?
Just a friend, another owner of a bar. He likes to dabble in fancy items.
You don't know his name?
I mean, I do, but he's kind of the precarious type.
But he's my friend, but I can't know his name. You understand why this seems troublesome, yes?
Not wizardry.
If he is my friend, maybe
So,
just
Remy
bring him
seems
along
pretty-
next time.
Remy seems
Yeah,
pretty
next
sus.
time, if he's got free time, he is a very busy man. I'll definitely try to bring him along. But are you able to lend a helping hand by chance?
Well, if
I
it
can
turns
definitely
out
give you more details.
we have an actual mutual friend, I could give it a shot.
We do have actual mutual friends.
Well, in the event that you prove that to be true, I could give it a shot, I think. I think that would be something I would do for a friend.
Are we not friends?
Well, you're quite lovely, but No, I guess not.
I just met you.
We could always treat it as an employment if you prefer.
So you're trying to bribe me? I don't need gold, madam.
I don't think bribery is quite what I was going for.
He says, well, capitalism is essentially bribery.
Fuck a proletariat.
And you look at his brother, and his brother is just like wide-eyed, like, and he just kind of looks and says, "Oh, and he just like walks off, like.
Proceeds to go gamble.
Baron Arik is just kind of looking about the room, kind of inspecting things. Adder says, well, I'll be in town with Arik for the remainder of the tournament. I don't do much advising, but...
You could find time, spare a moment to swing by the Westwood, and we can go over the details. And,
what is that, madam?
It's a lovely little bar in town.
He kind of looks at Arik, and Arik's like, I don't know. I ask around. He's like, I might find the time.
I'll draw him a little map or write down the address. Or
yeah, you can give him the address.
Google Maps.
He says, well, if you'd like to send along a carriage or something like that, I of course would appreciate it, and he kind of like pats his knees because he's kind of old and crooked. He says, I'm staying up in the castle district at a hotel there, and he gives you the address of that, and he says, you could acquire there with a message, or yourself if you like.
Okay, but we'll be in touch.
He just kind of pats you on the shoulder, and they kind of hobble off together.
You've never used MapQuest?
Wow, that's surprising.
I have, years ago.
We didn't use it back home. We barely use street names back home. We're like, hey, so the store there on the corner? Just take a right there, and it's the first left.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's what happens when you live on an island that's 100 feet by 100 feet.
So that's so Remy, remember that's the first week of downtime for you covered.
Yes.
Also, MapQuest did work. You just had to print out the play-by-play instructions, and if you missed a turn, you were fucked.
Well, I heard, what I was told is, it's always, a street off, no matter what, no matter where you're going. It just manages to be, one street off.
No.
You just can't miss your fucking directions, or else you're fucked.
I thought it was
if you miss your directions, you're fucked, but if not...
It was Apple Maps that was trash when it released.
No, this is before Apple Maps.
Trash.
I've never used it.
But yeah, when I use MapQuest, I don't remember ever running into problems, but I imagine that they didn't update street data often, so they probably had major errors when new developments went in and shit like that.
You had to be really on top of your directions. I think there was one time we used MapQuest to go to Idaho, way back when, 1,000 years ago, of course.
Yeah.
And we missed an exit to go somewhere. I think it was to get onto Oregon that we missed the exit, so we had to do a whole fucking turnaround to get back to where we were.
Why were you guys
get off the right exit?
Why do you guys go through Oregon? Why didn't you just take 405 across to
We
Highway
might have
99?
been going to Oregon. Now that I think about
Dude,
it,
nobody wants to go through that way to Idaho.
I'm sorry, 405 to Highway 99, then all the way across the state is the fastest way to Idaho.
Yeah,
but it's the fastest way to kill yourself with boredom.
So, Arya, for your
first
week of downtime,
yeah,
you go to Aelva. You're intending to find a noble estate to rob. She says, "Well, I could arrange something. I would need a small gold investment up front to get you documentation to get across the wall."
Of course.
So that will be 25 gold.
Yeah, I can do that. Holy shit, I didn't realize she was fucking loaded.
So, you get 2 tiers of nobility. Noble. And really fucking noble. Which would you prefer? One is obviously going to be harder, but higher reward. Okay. Oh boy. So, because this is downtime, there's a chance you just go to jail. So if you shoot too high and can't manage it, you will go to jail, and the fine will be a lot of gold.
just gonna go with noble. Not super fucking noble.
So noble. Aova sets you up with a location. The gold cost will go to, the documents to get across the wall, but also possibly even paying some people off.
Yep.
So, first I need a stealth check. Modified however you like.
And with the stealth check, I would like to use 2 key points to cast Pass Without Trace.
Okay, stealth check.
Pass without trace.
Pass without trace.
Pass without trace.
I want to pass without trace. Some stealthy.
Okay. Kinda glad I did. So that's a 27 stealth.
Okay, and then I need a Thief's Tool check.
And it's Dex plus Prof.
Rest in peace, Nero.
It's a 20 total.
Okay, and then an investigation check. Or hold on. So it's actually, there's 3 options. Investigation, perception, or deception.
Perception, please.
So, perception check.
15.
Okay, so you get in the house and you're just really struggling to find valuables that you can carry off. Like things are.
I was gonna preference this by requesting Tome Vey.
Even with a bag of holding, like
my bag
there's like large items. You are finding things that you can get across the wall, either in your pockets or in the bag of holding. But the 15 is not a success, so that's part of it. And then complications. Let me make sure that I get the range correct. If a life of crime, so roll on the complications if the character succeeds on only one check. If the character finds above. No. So no complications.
Okay.
So no roll there. Because you succeeded on 2. 2.
Yeah.
So 2 successes. So again, you get the small things. You get small kind of currency in safe. So you're getting like actual gold pieces, silver pieces, some platinum pieces.
Do I find any
jewelry?
diamonds?
Yeah. You don't find any like diamonds that are worth spellcasting components, but you do find like miscellaneous jewelry. You bring those to Aova. She takes a cut for the Thieves Guild and pawns the rest. And your cut is 200 gold off the top. Or no, sorry, 100 gold because you succeed. If 2 successes, partial success, half the payout. So you make 100 gold yourself.
After it's so put in 25, make 100 back. So it's a positive 75.
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe that's it.
And that's the first week?
Yes, that is the first week.
Okay.
And nothing bad happened.
Yep.
And I think we'll call it there for tonight.
Okay. That should give Morgan some time to go to sleep.